another day where I don't know what I'm doing on TikTok, but we are going to try to go live. I mean, I guess I am live. Um, Fun. And we're here to talk about The Rings of Power, episode 3. Maybe I'll just set you here. I hope that works. If anybody hops on here and can't hear me well or something, tell me. Because I'm a noob. What can I say? Hey, Belmont. I see you there, I think. Hey. Awesome. I'm glad you're here. How's everyone doing? Has everyone... Yeah, yeah, it is lunchtime. That's true. I did wake up kind of late today, so I had, breakfast before this. And I've got my Moria. Oh, the green screen does not like this notebook. But I've got my notebook, and that means I've got my Rings of Power notes. Nothing too detailed, really just wanted to give, a gut reaction. I've invited some friends to join us here in a few, but just wanted to talk about, initial reactions, how we're feeling about the show at this point, 3 episodes in. It feels like we should only be 2 episodes in, but it's 3. And, just how we're thinking, where we think the story is going. If you all are familiar with Swolhiram, Chris, he was going to join, but he got invited to brunch. So we might talk more in depth later, but just wanted to give some really gut reactions. And I see there's a really good number of you in here. If you are not following Belmont in the chat, then you absolutely should be. He noticed some really cool Easter eggs from this episode in a recent video, so please go watch that and come back. And be sure to tap your screen and all that TikTokery stuff that I'm told I should care about. So, in this episode, I'm going to assume that if you're here, you have watched this episode. If you have not, then maybe this isn't the live for you. So, we did leave with a cliffhanger with Arondir, and we found out what's going on with him in this episode. Thank goodness. Because if they would have left me hanging for that would have been rough. Because, I was thinking about it this morning, and I really think that he has become my favorite. And I'm just so interested to where his story is going. I think he is, he is the most elvish, and I think it should be Galadriel, but I really get the vibes from Arondir personally. And just the whole thing. I saw some people on Twitter weren't necessarily obsessed with the whole, so with Arondir, we know that he is captured by these orcs. They're using them as, slave labor to dig these crazy tunnels. We saw, previously, we knew that that village had been burned and destroyed, including all the livestock, and then, we were like, where are the people? Well, we kind of got to see where the people are. They also have other elves besides Arondir. Hey, Keaton! I'm going to invite you in here. So, I personally loved the reverence for the tree that the elves were showing about, not wanting to chop it down. Also, loving the depiction of orcs. Also love that Jed Brophy is back as an orc. Super, super cool. I think they're really well designed. I think they act they're brutal, right? The whole thing with the water. I was nervous. At first I thought it was poisoned or something. It was not. It was just being horrible afterward, the fact. The only part with the Arondir bit this time that wasn't really selling to me was the design of the wargs. I something is wrong with the eyes, personally. I cannot with the eyes. I don't know. So we have the things that hey, D-Sleaze. So we have like the wolves that the hobbits talk about, and they look kind of cool. Like they're not really a wolf. Hey, Keaton, what's up?
Hello, hello. Good afternoon, good morning.
Hello. Yes, not sure where everybody is in the world today, but it is just
Yes, it is a ripe 10 a.m. here, so
right 10 a.m. Okay, I'm at 1 p.m.
yeah.
Hey,
Um,
Clayton.
I noticed you were talking about the Chihuahua Warg. I think as it's
Yeah,
being deemed online.
yeah, and it's funny because I have two chihuahuas, and I'm like,
I can
no.
never look at them the same again.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
was like, I mean, because I understand them. Hey, 4Nos42. Hey, Nick. Everybody also go follow Nick, 4Nos42 in the chat if you're not already. But yeah, like, because we've seen the wolf guys, and they look
Mm,
pretty cool. Like, I'm into that. And now we have this
yeah.
warg, and I mean, like, I understand, like, the muzzle being all scraunch, but the eyes are really throwing me.
Yeah, they're a little too human for me. There's too much
Yeah.
too much white in those eyes.
Yes, I was
Yeah.
surprised.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know because then you've got whatever the other wolf things are with the hooves, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not really sure yet. There's clearly something going, some experimentation going on, perhaps. It'd be
Mm-hmm.
interesting to see.
Yeah, I mean, but the rest of that scene was awesome
It's
for me.
great. Yeah, it's honestly this episode. I don't know if you'd mentioned it yet, but it's really it's probably the most intense episode in terms of like what I imagine TV rating in terms of like content would go.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
and the fact that the word went for the guts
I
of
know. Yeah.
everybody,
Yeah. Yeah,
insane.
even I remember because I remember that whole sequence in in the film version of Two Towers. They did a lot of cutting away and like not really use of blood too much, and
Mm-hmm.
this is just like really going for it.
Yeah.
So,
I know. I was
so
like,
yeah,
oh no. Hey, cat
yeah.
lovers for real. How's it going, buddy? I love the username. It's so good.
So what were your? I mean, the Numenor impressions. I think that's probably been the most universally positive part of the episode
Yeah,
in terms
I
of
thought
the design and look.
Numenor was, I mean, very cool. So many little Easter eggs,
A
you
lot,
know?
a lot.
Like,
They haven't really gotten to the white tree yet.
no. Just a
And
little,
that, yeah,
hey.
yeah. I'm wondering though how much that's going to come into play this season.
Mm-hmm.
I think in my mind I'm expecting things to. I mean, I'm glad they're not happening quickly, I guess, but
Yeah.
I've been. I don't know. I don't want to make things happen too quickly in my head.
Yeah, for sure. But at the same time, I also feel like things are happening quickly because, like,
They are.
they,
I mean, yeah, we got
so,
time compression.
yeah, exactly. And I was originally, Nick in the 4Nos42 in the chat can attest to this. I was originally kind of hoping that, um, that Muriel was going to be more of a, I don't know, like kind of an in between. Like she's trying to keep her loyal
Oh right.
people, but I didn't really think that she would be so like negative toward Galadriel right at the outset. But she definitely was, which makes me feel like okay, so we're in that Numenor. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Um,
it's weird. I don't. It's hard to tell if she's playing both sides of the coin.
yeah, I'm interested to see if we ever, once I'm sure there's going to be a time when they're one on one
Yeah.
together. So I want to see
Well, that
what that
Palantir
is.
scene, right? I mean,
Hey,
isn't that when
Annex.
they're one on one in the
Yeah.
Palantir?
They
Yeah.
definitely talk in the so that's really interesting. I understand like keeping face in front of Farazan. We know I can't wait for him to really like go nuts. Um
Yeah.
and really kind of like show his more villainous side.
Hey
Um
guys.
hey Annex, how's it
Hello.
going?
All right, how are you guys?
I'm good. What time is
Doing
it for
okay.
you? We were like comparing time zones.
This it's 6, just like 10 past 6. Yeah,
Okay. Not too late. Not
it's
too bad.
early.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
I
right.
was
Yeah.
I was supposed to be playing D&D, and then things gonna go cancel last minute, so my evening just opened up.
Hey, well, here you
Nice. Welcome.
are.
Yeah, we're talking about Rings of Power.
Of
Of
course.
course we are. Of
Mm-hmm.
course we
Of
are.
course, the background gave it away. The background gave
Yeah.
it
Yeah,
away.
I know. I'm
Yeah.
like, and I'm obsessed with this part with the Harfoots. Like I mean, I'm loving them right now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I'm so interested by the. I mean, I love their design and like the way that they're kind of setting up their little
Yeah.
culture. And it's so interesting how much they talk about not leaving anyone behind, but then it's like, oh, they absolutely leave people
They're kind of
behind.
cutthroat.
Mm-hmm.
They're kind of
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
cutthroat.
That was cold. That was cold.
I know. I mean, it was
Oh,
like,
Yeah, I
what?
don't know. And then the whole reveal about Poppy, I was kind of caught off guard with as well.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I
I
just,
don't think
yeah,
it really hit me until I saw her carrying her cart by herself.
Oh
it's
yeah. Mm-hmm.
interesting how much more intertwined the Harfoot story seems to be on the epic scale, like in terms of the broader story than the Hobbits ever were.
Mm,
Like as a whole, as a community, they seem to be much more intertwined with what's going to happen on the larger scale of the show than, the Hobbits that we saw in the Third Age were. So, I don't
yeah.
know. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, not counting how it goes in the book with the Third Age Hobbits, but
Oh.
Right.
I
Yeah,
mean,
I mean, I feel like the way they were talking this time around felt so hobbity. Like the way Sadok was giving his little speech and all of that. I
mm-hmm.
it felt
very
really hobbity
Bilbo.
to me. Yeah, very Bilbo.
Yeah.
Um,
When he started talking, I was like, oh, you're actually doing the Bilbo
Yeah,
speech.
yeah, actually
You're
doing this.
actually.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
that's. I
There's so
was.
many moments where
Yeah.
it's like, wink, wink.
Mm-hmm.
Like, remember that?
Yep.
The first time I watched it, like, when I watched it yesterday evening, I was like, oh, I don't know if I like that. They're going too Hobbit. Like, you can chill with the Hobbit references. And then the second time I watched it, I was like, you know what? This is kind of delightful. I kind of like
Yeah.
this. Yeah.
I just like hanging with them. They are a little bit more. Nick said brutal. Like they're not quite so comfy, but are also set in their ways like a general hobbit. So,
Hmm.
um,
Yeah.
so I'm interested to see how it changes with the introduction of the stranger. Like he's like legit hanging out with everyone now. Well, not everyone, but like Murray's family.
Hmm.
And they're obvious. I hope that this means that they get to catch up with the rest of everyone.
I think so. I
Assuming
think that's
so.
the implication. Yeah.
God, I
I
mean,
think I
I'm
think
almost
they'll
feeling
start to
like, are they just
realize
gonna
that
go
he's
do their own
helpful.
thing? Like, screw those guys. Like,
Oh,
push us to the back.
I mean, I don't know. We got
Probably
the
not,
broken
but
ankle situation. That's pretty.
Hmm.
I know that was kind of like the first really gnarly thing that happened.
That actually
Okay.
just made me think. I imagine our little hoofed wolf friends will probably try to pick them off, being in the back of
Oh
the
no!
caravan
Yep,
then.
Hmm.
yep. I
So
think
Hmm.
you're right.
Yeah.
It's like a death sentence to be at the back of the caravan.
yeah,
Hmm. I mean, so okay, so I'm training to be a doctor, but like the two grossest moments in the episode for me was the broken ankle and
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
when Halbrand broke the arm. I I
The arm
flinched.
made
Both
me
moments I
flinch.
flinched. Yeah, I was like, oh,
Yeah,
that's gross. That's gross. I don't need to see that.
that's
Yeah.
Yeah.
crazy.
Again, that's what I was
How
saying
great
earlier.
was
That
Halbrand?
he's
Okay, so Halbrand.
very
So here
interesting now.
I wrote when I was writing down my notes. Like, so I was writing like, Muriel is giving me the Queen of Spain from the Fountain vibes, um,
Hmm.
and then also that Halbrand. Like to me, I know that like everyone is talking about him maybe being Sauron,
Right.
but I kind of feel like we're getting a ton of red herrings. Like that's my
Yeah.
personal
I think
thought.
so.
Like I think that they're just
Mm.
gonna lead us. They're like leading these different trails. Hey, Nubetta, like
What's up?
Hey,
leading
How's
us
it
I
all
don't
over the
think he's
place.
Sauron anymore. I don't think he's
No.
Sauron anymore. So when he was speaking to Miriel, when he was giving that speech, I was like, oh, this is definitely Sauron.
Right,
Like,
right,
you
right.
know, smooth with his words, deceiving, and I was like, this is definitely Sauron. But then you get his backstory, and I don't think he is. I don't think he is Sauron anymore.
Cat lovers, yes, I agree. I am
Yeah.
offended he's also not the shortest person on the island.
Yeah, that's true. He's taller than Galadriel, which
Yeah,
in
that's
shots,
weird.
in
Yeah.
certain shots, is like, no,
It's like
no.
why?
Just like
Yeah,
put her on a stool or something. She needs to be taller than. She needs to be looking down on him from like a
yeah.
6'4".
But Keaton, I
Yeah.
want you to talk about your Witch King theory with
I don't
Halbrand.
know. Now that New Bed is
Oh
here,
yeah.
I'm about to get schooled.
No. I mean, it's a good theory. I was actually thinking about what you said, and I was like, that's a good theory.
I was thinking about what we were talking about in the episode about how Halbrand sort of went into how his ancestor was the one who made the blood pact with Morgoth, and I thought it would make a lot of sense instead of diving into the sorcery angle to say that the most powerful of the Nazgul, the reason why he is the most powerful and sort of the ringleader is because his ancestor, he has Morgoth magic in his blood essentially now. And not to say magic, but his
Yeah, yeah.
ancestor made the blood pact.
I like that.
That's the roots run deep, and
Yeah.
I'm
I
thinking
really
that
like
that
that.
might be the way they spin it, because why else would he
Could
have
be.
this suppressed rage in him? It's because of, it's not his fault, it's his ancestors' fault, sins of the father.
Yeah.
It's sort of the
I mean,
angle
that's
I think they
very
might take.
Tolkien.
Yeah, it's the angle I think they might take with it. But again, they could be like double faking us at this point to say it's not
That's what
Sauron,
I was
it's the Witch
thinking.
King, and then
Like
it's
the
not the Witch
double
King. It
fake,
actually is Sauron,
They're
and
messing
then
with
so
us.
it's like
That
I
is
don't know.
for
the
sure.
double fake.
I mean,
Yeah,
why would
Because
Sauron go to a normal like smithery and be like, "Can I be a smith here?" That's what I'm wondering. It's
that
like
I just think
he's
they're
acting
messing
too
with us.
human. I don't. No, but I like
but
the
that's
blood theory because I think it gives more credence to Theo is his son
right.
Mm.
because
Yeah, and
Theo's
then this
blood makes the
passes right
weapon
on.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I saw? I don't know if this has any bearing, but like, have we seen Theo's ears?
No, I've
everybody
seen.
keeps saying
Have
I
you
that.
don't
seen that,
think
Keith?
I don't think
Yeah.
Arondir is his father. I don't think
I
so.
don't think so either, but I thought that was really cute tweet. I was like,
Hmm.
oh my god, girl, what?
No.
Yo, can we just say that? Can we just show that Andy has 70 people in his room right now, and she just got to the
Yeah.
Hey,
1,000 followers? That
hey,
is
Send some
huge right
likes,
there.
guys. Send some
nice.
likes to
That's what's up,
Andy.
Guys,
man. Everybody tap the
Andy,
screen.
Andy, this
Is
works
the
every
GOAT.
time. Guys, tap on the screen. Just keep
How
tapping on the screen and then
smooth.
make that
Tapping on
red
that
bar
screen,
like fill
fill up
up.
that,
Make the red
Yeah.
bar
fill that
fill up.
It's
bar up.
like
It's a
a
really cool
game.
animation. We're gonna
Yeah,
set
that's
a goal of 5,000 likes. Let's see how quick we can get there.
So
5,000
Okay.
likes, guys.
here's my question: if he's not gonna, let's say he doesn't, if he's not Sauron, what does he want to forge?
Mm.
exactly. But
It's
like I said,
Just a
it
job.
could be a red herring. I
Yeah.
don't know for
Yeah.
sure. It could be a red herring, and then it could be like a double fake out. Like, you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So it's like they're really playing. They're doing their job well because we're all intrigued. We all have different theories, and
Yeah.
I was just thinking about the characters, and like when you said the Witch King, I was like, oh, that's a really good theory. And I'm like, wow, he is the king of men at some point. He's a sorcerer. All these things,
Yeah.
and I was thinking about it. I was like, that could be the Witch King. And then I was just thinking about Kamul, and I was like, technically, the Southrongs are, I don't know, like the Easterlings.
The
Um,
southeast, yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I'm assuming they're kind of like mixing those people up or
Yeah.
whatever they're doing. But if I was just thinking
Well,
about
we got to
who these people
5,000
could
likes,
be.
Annex. Set a new goal.
Okay.
Nice.
We're
Uh,
setting more ambitious goals. 10,000. 10,000. We're
10,000
setting ambitious
likes.
goals
Perfect.
here. Yeah.
That is it.
We're
Yeah.
gonna make this
Nice.
a huge life. But I like
So
something that Jeff
Angmar is in the
mentioned.
north.
Angmar,
Angmar is
yeah.
far in the north. So
That's
if you know
long
where the
way.
Yeah.
Misty Mountains are, Angmar is the very tippy top of the Misty Mountains is Gundabad. And to the left of that, in the far north, is Angmar.
Yeah.
So that's where that is. It has nothing to do with anything. I know his name is the Witch King of Angmar, but that's from the Third Age because he
Yeah.
goes to Angmar. Sauron sends him to Angmar to literally break up the Northern Kingdom. So Sauron
Yeah.
has come back. Sauron's in spirit form, and he's in Dol Guldur, and he sends the Witch King to the north to break up a already threatened Northern Kingdom of Arnor because they're having civil wars with each other. So he
Right.
uses that opportunity to bring war there, and it completely destroys. So first he takes Rudour, which is the closest to Angmar. He takes Rudour, and it's probably the weakest of the three kingdoms because it's the main king that's actually supposed to be the king rules Arthedain. Then Cardalin is the middle son, and then the youngest son has Rudour. So it's easiest to get Rudour. He gets Rudour, then he attacks Cardalin. He doesn't attack Arthedain because Arthedain is the strongest out of the three broken,
Yep.
fractured parts of the kingdom. And he takes Cardalin. This is where you get the Burrow Whites and everything like that. He doesn't even fully hold Cardalin, but he takes it and then he sends fell spirits to where the mounds of the dead kings and the dead warriors are, so that he doesn't really need to hold it because the Burrow Whites are there. It's like cursed and like they don't want to go there. They don't want to retake it because of the fell spirits and stuff like that. So it kind of just remains there. And Cardalin is never really fully re-inhabited. So now it's just Arthedain. And first, Amenelos is the capital, and then the Witch King
Callie,
comes
you
and
got
he
a
beats
map?
it down,
Yeah.
beats it down, and then they have to retreat to Fornost, and they retreat to Fornost, which is in the northern downs, and that becomes the capital. So they're getting beat down. They're getting beat down, and this is over a period of hundreds of years. And the Witch King finally takes Fornost, and he won. So Arnor is completely captured by the Witch King. So the remaining forces of the north of Arnor literally call for aid from Gondor, and Elrond sends Glorfindel, a force with Glorfindel, and they go. So the king of Gondor is named Aenor, whichever one you want to say, comes to north to help. Glorfindel is sent by Elrond with the great force, and then the king he went to the coast. He comes, and they all attack the Witch King. Now the Witch King still would have won if he would have stayed in Fornost. If he would have stayed in Fornost, which is a fortress, he would have won. But he met them in open battle, and this is why he loses, which was dumb on his part, which I don't know why he did that for. Go ahead.
I'm still
Alex.
itching for a Witch King series spinoff after this.
Yeah,
There's definitely gonna be one. There's definitely gonna
the
be one.
game War in the North is really, really good. Like that's why I love that. So so what happens is they beat his forces, and he's about to get driven off, and he's just about to escape. He's just like, whatever, I'm the Witch King, and he's riding off. Aenor goes to chase him and fight him, and Glorfindel stops him, and this is where the prophecy comes from. Glorfindel has foresight. Remember, Glorfindel has come back from death. He can see on both worlds, everything like that. So he sees he's not going to fall by the hand of any man. So you going after him is just going to cause your death. Don't go after him. And he listens to Glorfindel, and the Witch King escapes. He goes south. He reconvenes with the other Nazgul, and this is when Minas Ithil gets taken, and they turn into Minas Morgul. Aenor, like a dummy, instead of listening to Glorfindel, period, he receives a challenge from the Witch King later, and he goes into Minas Morgul and never comes out because he wanted to fight the Witch King in single combat, but the Nazgul betray him, and they take him. Now nobody knows what happens to him. So this is interesting. So my theory is he becomes the mouth of Sauron.
Yeah, that's a good one, actually. I never
Could be.
thought of it.
Yeah.
So everyone stop
Josh
saying that
desperately
it
wants
can't
the
be
mouth
the
of
Witch
Sauron.
King.
Yeah.
Yeah,
First off, shout out. We hit 10K. Easy. Next goal, 20K, guys. Just keep tapping on the
Yeah,
screen.
keep tapping.
Also,
it's easy.
I
Oh,
wanna bring back something
wild.
Jeff said earlier. And I don't remember if Jeff said this.
Tia, what's
The
up?
Halbrand being the Witch King.
Now,
I
how
think
many
it could be a
people can you
reverse
invite
Aragorn
into a
storyline.
live?
I think it could be Aragorn storyline but failed, where the king
exactly.
returns and they gets corrupted.
Yeah, I think that's
So
what
he's like,
I think that's the angle they're going for, and
Probably.
it's
That's
gonna
a
be
good theory.
it's gonna be a long payoff though, but I think that's what we're gonna get.
That's a really good theory. Like, it's making me rethink my theory. Like, I'm falling for all the red herrings and everything like that.
Oh, Willie.
I'm falling for now because I'm falling like it's because I love the red herrings that they are giving so much that it's
Same.
easy to lean into them.
And it's
So
like you said, that's how they're doing their job, right? Is that it's keeping us talking each week, and we're doing
and it's
discussions
also
like
like
this. So
personally, I would be so bored. Like, like we're familiar with the story. I want to be surprised, just like a person that's new to the story would be surprised. Because at the same time that I want to see, like I obviously want to see Numenor and I want to see these characters. Like I don't like have them. Like I understand that it's a TV show and it's going to be different, so it's like, it's fine. I've been really enjoying how they've been approaching things so far, and I think it's been a really fun ride, and we're only 3 episodes in.
Yeah, if a show can keep someone like you better guessing, then it's got my endorsement.
Yeah, they're doing a good job because certain people I do know who they are. Like I know who Adar is, so I'm like super comfortable with that information, and I'm not telling anybody. But it's like I know.
I don't want to know. I don't want to know. Don't spoil it for me.
I have ideas, but yeah.
So yeah. Huan versus Bjorn. I actually did that one. If you want to check it out in my videos, I did Huan versus Bjorn. No, actually, no, I didn't Huan versus Bjorn. I did Draugluin versus Bjorn. So Huan killed Draugluin, so I guess you could know who was going to win that battle. You know what I'm saying?
What's up, you guys?
My Tia? Hey.
What's going on, my people?
Oh, look at you. You look beautiful. Look at your hair.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I finally got myself looking decent after a week of long work. Listen, it's
That's
work,
what's up.
and you know how it
Yeah,
goes sometimes. Ugh. But yeah,
totally.
Yeah, man.
how's everybody doing? Everybody, oh
So
my God, episode
I really want to hear what your favorite, because
3.
you're
Yeah.
not like, you're not like into the
Hello.
film, like you're a
Shoot,
movie fan. I really want to hear your impressions of the show and how you're feeling after episode 3.
hold on, it keeps breaking. Okay, sorry, it keeps breaking for some reason. All right,
Oh,
so listen, I'm a huge nerd. So even though
same.
I don't I might not know the lore of the
Yeah,
Lord of the Rings, but I love the fantasy of it. I love the world regardless. So, and I said it to some people before, like my excitement and my enjoyment of the show might be different than like for you guys that know the history and stuff. And I understand that because it's the same way I feel about someone coming new into Star Wars. It's not gonna be the same thing. But I love that
totally.
because even though I might not know about the lore, seeing you guys get excited about certain things makes me excited. I feed off of that excitement. So I love that this show is presenting us with such a very detailed storytelling that is easy for us that don't know the history and the lore to be able to follow and comprehend. On
Yeah,
top of also giving everybody new things, like you guys were saying, that you guys can enjoy it as well with these new surprises and stuff. And I think one of my favorite things about this show is that leaves us in this suspense, which I don't remember the last show that has given us these little like, so who is that and what's gonna happen next? And oh my god,
totally.
because we since they has these new elements on top of the lore that already exists, then it makes it very engaging.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
oh my god, listen, Numenor, when I saw it yesterday, I don't know if you guys saw my reaction. I
Yeah.
started tearing up, like I
Yo, I
cried
loved your
because
video, yo.
So
Your
cool.
video was dope.
thank you.
That shit was dope.
Because it's like when you're a little kid and you're watching all these things, all these shows, all these TV shows and cartoons and stuff, you transport yourself to these places. And when you
Mm.
grow up, you tend to forget what that feeling is like sometimes because everything going on in the world. And then you see that,
Yo,
and it's
somebody
like,
kick
oh my
Jeff.
God, I'm like a little kid again. It's like I want to be there, and it's a beautiful feeling. Just by with the scenery, that is cinematography that they're giving us to make you feel like that. It's a very big thing, with this show.
Yeah,
So I'm absolutely loving
absolutely.
it.
Somebody kick Jeff, man, out of here, man. Jeff is he is out of control, man. He needs to be stopped.
I haven't even been reading what.
Yo, somebody got to do something about this guy. Yo,
You're feeding him right now.
So
He loves it when you hate him.
that's so
he's
funny.
such a
Yeah.
troll, man. But he's like the good troll, but it's so funny, man. So, so Andie, have you been getting asked the same question since the last episode?
Like,
I know maybe Tia doesn't know, but she got a little glimpse of it, and I'm not sure about Keaton, but probably. But everybody's been asking me the tension with Galadriel Muriel. They're not really understanding why the Númenóreans are treating the elves like that, this, that, and
Yeah.
the third. So if you guys don't understand, maybe me and Andy and Callie and Keaton possibly could break it down for you. So the Númenóreans, which you watch our videos and you were like, the Númenóreans and the elves are friends. But this is
Mm-hmm.
in the beginning.
yeah.
In the beginning, they're friends. So they're really close in the beginning because they obviously those men helped defeat Morgoth. So they're like a kindred.
Mhm.
But unfortunately, there's a problem. So in Numenor, they gifted that island, but the island came with a condition. And it's kind of not fair. So if you're a human, you can understand this. You're gifted long life, wisdom, strength, all this stuff, but you're only allowed to stay on your island and sail east. You can't sail west. You
Mm-hmm.
can't go to Valinor.
You're
Oh.
already as west as you can be.
You're
Numenor.
as west as you can go. You're not allowed to go to Valinor ever. And they don't explain
Oh.
why. They don't tell the Numenorians why they
Because you
can't
gotta have
sail to
faith.
Valinor. They don't explain anything. And the Numenorians have gifted long life, but they're not immortal.
Yeah.
So eventually the kings go, like next king. And then eventually one of the kings is like, yo, man, what the fuck going on here, man? Why we can't go over there? Why do the elves get to live forever and we die? Like, because they're faced with their mortality, and even more so than a regular man, because they get to live so long and then it just their life is just snatched from them. So they're like, yo, why is that happening to us? We fought Morgoth too. Like, what's going on? So a split happens. And it's like every other freaking king, it like bounces back and forth.
Yeah.
A king will be like, man, this ain't fair. I don't fuck with the elves no more. This is bullshit. Then the next king will be like, I love the elves, man. You guys are welcome back. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then it'll go. But then it got to a point where a split happened and the Numenorians became split between two peoples. The Kingsmen, which literally are like, forget the elves, forget the gods, forget everything. We are the best. Because we don't need them, whatever, but they're resentful towards the gods and not having immortality. And then the faithful still speak the language of the elves. They still welcome the elves. They still believe in the gods. All of that stuff. But the Kingsmen far, far outnumber the faithful.
Right. So it's interesting to think about with the time compression, we don't get to see the friendship with the elves, but we are getting to see the beginnings with the dwarves in a way, as far as like the dwarves starting to chill with Celebrimbor. So it's clear they felt that was the story that needed to be shown. Whereas with Numenor, they were like, you know what, let's just start off with them being isolationist, and
because they have to, because Farazan.
Yeah, he is.
They don't have a choice. If they're going to put Farazan, they have to. It has to be a time where the Kingsmen rule. It can't be a time before that. But did you notice Palantiri? They didn't show him yet. So
no,
I know.
I was like, are they going to show him? I didn't see him in the credits or anything. So I was like, so this is the cool thing.
Yeah,
Muriel's father.
They end a scene right at the end where it's like, okay, you're not going to fully see Adar, you're not going to fully see Palantiri,
I know, right? Muriel's father is one of the kings that welcome the elves. He's like one of the good guys. He's like one of the best guys. So Muriel's father is actually
dad? Okay.
Muriel's dad is actually a good guy. So this is why everybody's looking at Muriel sideways, like, nigga, your dad is like, what are you talking about? Like, what's going on? But then Farazan is her cousin, her father's brother, son, and her uncle is completely opposite.
Yeah.
And so was her grandfather. So the king before Muriel's dad was completely a kingsman. He's the one like completely ruled against the elves, everything. And so it's like back and forth.
Do you have any thoughts on her saying to her father, they don't show him, but she is like, the moment we feared, like the elf is here. So
I think they've been looking in the Palantir.
Look for Muriel to be faking. Look for Muriel to be faking. She's not bad. So that's what I was like, oh, I see what they're doing. She has to play along because little do you know, Chancellor Farazan has the people in his pocket. Like he has the people, they follow him because he's like a great military leader.
But what does she mean by that? Is there like a premonition or like
They have the Palantir.
Yeah, the Palantir.
They have the Palantir.
Yeah.
So, but if they are friendly secretly towards the elves, I'm wondering, like, so they saw her coming and then that would kick off certain events? Is that what you're thinking?
Something like that. Something, I mean,
that's what I'm saying, because
the
what does she mean,
downfall,
like,
I think
that she fears that the elf is back? Is that like a legend or something that's been like, oh, we were expecting this, something's going to happen because the elf is here?
So they have
the
one of the seeing
downfall of
stones.
Numenor, I think they're like, they've seen it, and that must be like a catalyst for it.
The Palantir is also, I think there's some people, the Palantir is, if you're familiar with the films, Saruman uses the Palantir to speak to Sauron in Mordor. So
the ball thing from the Lord of the Rings?
It's the,
all right.
This thing. And so you can, that they have one of those, but obviously they're not being used for.
They have
for ill
tons of those. They have
7
or 8 of them.
7.
Okay, Annex, set in goal.
The lost seeing stones.
Yeah, they've seen songs.
So likely they've been looking in there and seeing sort of like a vague, broken up version of what
A
will happen.
vision. Okay.
Yeah, more
Yeah,
Okay.
than
all that.
likely.
I think when they look in, they're seeing the downfall, and they must have seen Galadriel. They must have seen something, and
Right.
because remember, elves aren't welcome there at this point in time.
Right.
So the coming of an elf might be the catalyst for the downfall that they're
Yeah.
seeing.
Okay,
You
and they
understand?
said
Like,
we gotta
I
get to
know it's
25K
really
likes.
deep, but
So.
just so you understand, because that part is really political, so it's hard to understand. That's why I felt compelled to explain it.
Of
That part
course.
is really, really political.
Yeah.
So what caused the wave to come to Numenor? Like what? That's what destroyed Numenor, right? Like a huge wave. That's what it
Spoilers.
was.
I don't want
Is
to
it
get the
okay?
Oh, I
spoilers.
saw.
I don't
See.
know. I don't
I
know.
pay attention to you guys' videos. I pay attention to you guys' videos.
Okay. So you're gonna see how it happens. So I guess everybody knows Numenor falls, so it's not like a
Yeah. No, I
fucking.
know.
Right.
Yeah, it's just how.
So
All right.
this is
So
the point
Okay.
where I.
Just the how. Okay. So
This
then,
is where I'm
yeah.
like,
Let's keep it.
when it comes
surprise.
to Sauron,
he's the goat.
it's interesting to think about how they're going to do this, because so not only does he have to get friendly with Celebrimbor and start making rings,
Yeah.
Mhm.
then they're supposed to have a war with the elves, and then
Mhm.
Numenor helps out,
Yeah.
and then he flies back to Mordor and proclaims himself king of men, and then that's when
Yep.
Farazan gets mad and is
Yeah.
like, nuh-uh.
Yeah.
And then he captures them and brings him back
This
to
is the
Numenor. I
tricky.
don't know if that's
The
really the
time
order
compression.
I had
of
a
events that they're going to
The
do.
time compression is going to screw everything up, but
Yeah,
they got to do what they got to do.
But
I had a theory about that going
Look,
into the
Amber,
show,
go
and then
for
there's just like, we're 3 episodes in already, and we haven't even talked about rings yet. Because my theory originally was like,
But
okay,
there's 5 seasons.
yeah, my theory though was season 1 will be
Yeah.
the 3, season 2 will be the 7, season 3 will be the 9, and then the season 4 would be the 1, kind of. Because they're
No,
calling
but
it the Rings
the
of
three
Power.
are made second to last.
Well, I mean, in general, like 1 season per is what I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
1 season
Right, that they would
per,
break up
like,
and make
set
Yeah.
of, like, we're going to focus on these rings and these rings and these rings. And then we're not, we haven't even, there's just so much that has to happen. There's so much that has to
I
happen.
know, and I'm just like, do they make rings this season?
I don't think so. I wouldn't think so.
I don't think so at this point, because...
So I'm just wondering, like, how do you guys think they're going to smush all that together? So because basically, Farazan needs to capture Sauron at some point, and then Sauron has got to become some kind of like advisor.
He becomes his
to
chief
Farazan.
advisor. Yeah.
Well,
and then he is the one who kind of like leans into how Farazan's
Already feeling, yeah.
about the lack of immortality and all of this, and he's like, well, you could just like go take it from Valinor.
Yeah.
Like they told you.
Wait,
can't go
Farazan
there.
is the
It's
king
because
from
they don't
Numenor,
want-
right?
Yeah.
So Farazan is the
He will
guy
become
with the
king.
beard.
yeah,
The chancellor.
he's the advisor right now, but he will be king.
Yeah.
For Numenor or for like
Numenor.
For Numenor.
Numenor.
So yeah, I think so. To New Beto's point,
Right, the shit
point, if Halbrand is Sauron, he can just work his way up from proving himself as a valiant warrior for Numenor instead of doing this whole captured arc, because I don't think they have time to do everything.
Yeah.
So
But he's supposed to pose as an emissary from the Valar?
right to
Yes.
Eregion.
So
Yeah.
this is what I'm thinking is going to happen, and you guys can. This was my thought process, and it could be the dumbest thing on the face of the earth.
I doubt that.
I was thinking, if Halbrand is Sauron, he's going to go through this whole season helping, and Galadriel's going to be helping him do this. He's scouting out Numenor. He's doing all these things. People ask me why he didn't kill Galadriel. He doesn't want to kill the elves right now. He wants them because they're the most powerful, right?
Yeah.
At the end, he's going to fake his death somehow, because otherwise, if he didn't, they would know Halbrand was Sauron, and they would have used that name within the story somehow, right? Or they would know also that the Witch King's name was Halbrand if they find that out. So he's going to fake like he died, and then he's going to go as Anatar. And then he's going to go and he's going to infiltrate the dwarves, and he's going to infiltrate the elves, and do all that whole thing. And he's then, obviously, when they see he puts on the ring, whatever, they could do that within a season. He goes to war. That could be another season. The war, like let's say season 4 or 3 is the war. He goes to war, completely destroys the elves, kills people and stuff.
People and
And
stuff.
and
Yeah.
boom, they ask for help from Numenor. Numenor comes. They're going to skip the first time they ask for help. They're going to skip that. They're going to skip to the second time Numenor has to come help with Pharazôn and skip it because he's already there. Because that was hundreds of years before, 1,000 years before. So it doesn't matter. They're going to skip that one. So Pharazôn is already there. Pharazôn's going to come take Sauron. Now they can focus that on in season 4. We can get the downfall of Numenor. So Sauron can infiltrate and do all that within the season. We can see that happen. Isildur save the White Tree. They go over, boom, 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 boom. And then the last thing is the last alliance is the last season.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
that's what I was thinking, but it's not.
I'm still not on board with the Halbrand and Sauron theory, just because I think it's such a big disservice to Galadriel. That's my only thing. Is it's like if he's right there under her nose, and she's the only one who, you know, previously could sense that evil was still in Middle Earth. If he's right there, I think that's like such a huge disservice to who we know Galadriel to be.
But it leads,
and I know
it leads credence to what Gil-galad said.
What's up?
It leads credence and it gives credit to what Gil-galad said. By you like keep searching for evil, you're going to end up finding evil. And you know what I mean? You're like going to bring it about by you doing all this. And that would be her doing that. By it would make it come full circle. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess we do have to kind of consider that they are changing pretty dramatically
I would
too.
say so. I think it's a lot of growth for her character. I think that they're really focusing in on, you know, we're not necessarily seeing a lot of time, but I think we are going to see a lot of growth for our main elves, like especially our Region elves, and how their characters change, whereas I'm not sure that everyone else's character is really going to go through that same arc, you know, and, you know, one thing that I keep thinking about is how when Galadriel is offered the ring by Frodo, and she's like, I've thought about this for a long fucking time, dude. Like, and so I want to see them take that bit and figure out how to work that into the story, you know? But, because it's a big part of, like, how she became who she is, I would say.
If anybody doesn't know, Sauron wants the 3 rings the most. So out of all the rings, he wants the 3 the most because of who has them.
And they're
the most powerful of the rings beside the one. Yeah, he didn't corrupt them. They're the most powerful of all the other 19 rings. His ring is the strongest, but it's already his power in the ring. So that's not really a thing. He wants the 3. Because those are the most powerful ones. They like have the power to preserve and everything like that. So he wants them, and whoever controls them. If he controls them, it's like the 9 on crack. Like it's the 9. Imagine the 3 would be way stronger than the 9.
Yeah.
Here's a theory I have, and I would love to discuss it with this group. So I feel because we're getting a bunch of these new characters, right? We don't necessarily know who they are. We have guesses. I think we should kind of look at it as like every new major character that we're introduced to is either a ring bearer or connected to a ring bearer, because it all comes back to the rings at the end of the day, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's really smart. That's really smart. I'm not mad. I'm not mad at Keaton's theory, and I'm kind of like leaning to your theory now. So I know that'll make him happy. Like I like that, man.
I know.
Because as much as I wanted to be Sauron, the Witch King is my favorite character. So
it was just that Morgoth line. I'm telling you, that sort of what that kicked all the gears turning.
I know they're like laying so many breadcrumbs, and I'm like, which do I follow? Like,
I know.
Where do I take this?
Yeah.
So the 9 are comprised of who? The 9 are comprised of who exactly?
We don't really know.
We don't know. We only one of them was ever named.
The only one that has a name is Kamul.
Kamul, yeah.
So Kamul is the only one that is named. Kamul is the king of the Easterlings. So whenever we meet the Easterlings, the real actual Easterlings that are named the Easterlings, the king is definitely going to be one of the 9. That is the only known one where everybody's like, this is definitely that guy.
Yeah.
3 of them.
But is it different races?
Numenorians.
Like some is dwarves, some is.
We don't have any dwarves that become wraiths. The rings don't.
The dwarves can't turn into wraiths. So
yeah, the rings do not work the way Sauron had kind of, I think, hoped. When it comes to the dwarves,
the dwarves were made by a different being than the regular god. He was made by the Smith god. Sauron's actual master, kind of. Sauron's real, like, he was under Aule, the Smith god. The dwarves were made by them. His teacher, yeah, his teacher. Sauron was a servant of Aule. He made the dwarves, not the one god. So he made them really strong and tough and resistant because he made them when Morgoth was in rule.
They have a ring. They become more. I mean, you all remember like the Thorin in like the Hobbit movie. I mean, it's like they get more greedy.
Yep, exactly.
They're more selfish. It like kind of enhances like their worst traits. But it does not turn them into a wraith, and they can't be controlled.
They can't turn into shadows, and they can't be controlled. They can't be mind controlled because of their nature. They can't. So it's like he's like, damn, that shit didn't work. But then he notices, the elves can, elves, men, everybody else can.
The elves are also a lot more careful in how they use the rings, though.
That's the thing.
That's why they don't fall the way Sauron either.
It's so interesting with their rings because it's like, you know, Celebrimbor makes them, and he initially, you know, gives them to a few different people then who end up with them by the time of Lord of the Rings. But, you know, I just imagine him, he was just like doing his elvish thing, you know, but then as soon as they know about the One Ring, they don't use them at all, and they don't use them until Sauron falls at the end of the Second Age.
But that was Sauron's fault, though.
Yeah.
So it was like an accident. Like the way the rings are connected, because they need to be connected so Sauron can control them. He didn't think that when he put his one ring on, the rest of them would be alerted. So he wasn't thinking about that.
Dummy.
So when he put it on, it worked. His plan worked, but they just were aware of him right away, and that messed his plan up because they were like, "Oh shit," and they took him off. As opposed to probably because they can wield the difference between elves and men. The elves can wield their rings because the elves are the most powerful beings on Earth, so they can wield their rings. So people always ask me, what makes the rings able to turn you invisible? If the ring is more powerful than you, it's going to turn you invisible.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're strong enough to wield the ring, you don't turn invisible. Like Gandalf, if you put the ring on, he's not going to turn invisible.
Women? I'm sorry.
I don't know if it's joke. I don't know what's going on.
Too many women?
Did you see that in the chat?
Yeah.
Matt,
leave.
GTFO.
Whoever's you can mod. Whoever's modding can kick them out.
And I was like, wow.
What did he say?
Too many women on the live, so leave.
The only comment. Oh wow. It's just it was bold. It was a bold statement. It didn't really work.
Anyways.
Yeah.
Anyways.
We won't get into that rant right now.
So like the rings, I hope they do get to talk. I mean, I'm sure that they will. I mean, the thing is called Rings of Power, so I'm like, I'm excited for when they get to that, and I'm interested to see how they do the design. You know, how it differs from what we've previously seen, in all types of other things. So that'll be really cool, and I'm interested to see how they talk about the rings, like how they talk about the way Celebrimbor is thinking about it. That's another thing that I was a little sad that there were no dwarves today, no Celebrimbor, and I'm really interested in getting to know Celebrimbor more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
such a complex character.
Close to the chest.
Yeah.
So complex, man.
Yeah.
And
I'm hoping we get more Celebrimbor and Elrond next episode, and more Bronwyn and Theo, because they kind of left us with that creepy Theo line.
I know.
And Bronwyn's my queen.
Yeah.
So
I know. I was like, damn it, because we got to see a Rondir story, so I thought that, you know, but now they're kind of split up, so I'm like,
I think, they're split up.
Yeah.
So next time,
it was just,
like...
Yeah. It was all this
I got a question for you guys.
Episode will be,
So I got a question for...
Rondir every time, because I need that.
I got a question for Andie and Critique Greek.
Yeah.
I see Greek all the time, I don't know why. How big of pieces of shit are the Valar for not just explaining to the Númenóreans why? How big of pieces of shit are they for just doing that? And then not only that, but sending the elves already who they're resentful to tell them why they can't come over and they don't even do a good job of explaining it.
Like, I don't understand this like structure and dynamic that Tolkien created, because at first you kind of think like, oh, it's just because they have a hands-off approach, you know, free will and all that. But then when they want to get involved, they do. Like when they really want to, you know, they'll send some of the Maiar over. So it's like,
yeah, I feel like the Valar, when I think about them, it's just like they seem to overestimate how much time, or you know, or underestimate, or whatever, I don't know what the word is, but like they think that, so they all have a lot of time on their hands, right? And so they're like prone to waiting things out and not really doing as much as they probably could. But that's
during the first stage though, Clayton. That's during the first stage, and same thing when with you, Jeff, like during the time of the second age, we're not asking them to get involved to where they're fighting somebody. We're asking them to get involved. Like you could have sent Eonway over. You could have sent anybody over.
But it's funny that like, you know, in the first age we see Ulmo, he, you know, kind of is like, you know what, I'm stepping in where you guys aren't. But I'm kind of like, I kind of wish that somebody needs to tell these guys something. Maybe they were just so impressed by Elros's leadership that they felt like they didn't need to. I don't know. I think they only really got involved with Morgoth because it was one of their own. Yeah.
And, you know, Sauron's a Maya, technically. I mean,
the only thing we've seen is,
So they send over more.
But that's during once again, Jeff, that's during the first age. During the second age, they don't do that. They just make bad decisions. Of
the only thing that we even really get is
like they destroy Numenor. That's one of the only things they do. But what we're asking is, if you read the Akalabeth, right? So during the Akalabeth, the Numenorians are feeling complete disdain toward the elves, and they're like, I can't figure out why they're jealous of them. Why are they allowed to be? Why are they allowed to go to Valinor, and why are they immortal? And the questions are fair. These are fair questions because it feels like you get shafted. They don't understand their gift.
This reminds me a lot of when you talk about like the talk that Boromir needed.
Yeah,
so like, they never explain why they didn't make the men also immortal.
No, they don't explain it, but they explain to the elves why the elves are immortal. The elves get all the preferential treatment, and it's weird.
Why? Why do they get the preferential treatment?
They're the firstborn.
So as the reader, you see. As the reader, you see that men's gift is really the greater gift. And they actually get to go be with the Iluvatar in the end. And everything is more beautiful because it's in the now. And it's really poetic and beautiful. But it's only poetic and beautiful if you fucking know. If you don't know, you feel like you're being shafted. Yeah. So that's what's happening.
That, like, you know, the Catholicism, I feel like, coming in there, where as far as like you need to believe it without the proof, like you can't
exactly
the whole faith thing.
So this is where the face plan comes in. The Valar could have easily sent Eonway, or like Lee said, sent Unin, which they worship her. They worship. This is the person that like protects Numenor, all of that stuff. They worship her as a god, and she's a Maya. They could have sent any one of those to go explain this to them. They send an elf to go explain it.
So now
they're already resentful to the elves, and the elves don't even give a good answer at all. The elves are just like,
it's literally like your older sibling explaining why your parents made a decision to you, and like you don't give a crap what your older sibling is saying. They just like you better.
Yeah, like they do a terrible job of explaining. They're like, "Yo, don't worry about it." They're kind of like, "Just don't worry about it. That's what it's fated to be." Like da 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 da, and they're like, "What?"
Like it is.
So then
it
gets worse. It gets worse. Yeah. The resentment gets worse, and the split gets worse. And it's just the gods, as much as they claim to be mad, it's like you should be mad at yourself. I feel like the Valar, like that was dumb. So.
Well, it is what it is.
So, but what else? What else from the episode did we want to discuss? I mean, the orcs. We haven't talked about the orcs very much.
Oh my gosh, obsessed. Like,
oh yeah, I love the orcs,
dude.
Amazing, and they act.
Listen, first
amazing.
of all, the practical effects. I'm a big practical effect fan.
Same.
So seeing them like just straight up like really moving their and seeing them that they're in actual costume, that was so cool.
Yeah,
that was really really cool.
But
I mean, it looks better than the fully digital orcs. So
Elros might have understood, but remember, Elros was originally an elf, half an elf. So if he understood, he probably didn't. He might have not known that it was going to become a problem because it wasn't a problem at first.
Right.
So it's not. You know what I mean? He might have had the understanding and felt like I don't need to explain this. This is a known thing, or he didn't even think about it. It wasn't a problem at first. It wasn't until like, damn, so a lot of kings before it really started becoming a problem. Like at least 12 or 13 or something like that, before it became a problem.
Many generations, and they're living much longer for these kings, so that's like.
Elros was not a human before the choice, man. Cut the shit.
Oh my God! Don't eat. We're not going there. We're not going
Stop,
there
Jeff.
today. But yeah, I was thinking about the orcs.
Oh, okay.
Their
my bad, Lee.
Costumes and how they have their hoods. You know, I was like, that is so smart. We've never seen orcs wearing stuff like that, and it's like I was like, duh. Like these guys are still hurt by the sun. You know?
By the sun.
It was so cool the way that they have like strategically made their little camp so that it is blocking.
It's like blocking and camouflage.
Yeah,
that's a very tactical thing in like in real life thing. It's the same
my
thing.
question, So what are they digging for? Are they looking for the sword that's under the shed?
I don't know.
It's also how they're traveling.
You know? Like,
detected.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
What? New
you know?
You do? Get out of here. Just leave.
Okay.
It's just rude.
We'll make it. We'll table the talking point.
Yeah, they're wearing reptile hide. Annick said it. The reptile hide is really cool.
Yeah. I just love that we're finally seeing like smart orcs.
Yeah, these
smarter
orcs are badass, and they're mean. They're so mean.
Smarter.
Like, I mean,
I like that we're getting more information about how they are, because in the movies you don't see that. So
I'm hoping
really
that
cool.
like these guys will continue because in the movies, we see a little bit of when they're with Merry and Pippin. We don't really get to see a lot of the Mordor orcs besides, like, don't you know we're at war? Like that whole thing. But there's several conversations that actually happen where Sam or Pippin are just hearing the orcs talk, but they're not like interjecting or anything. And I can feel the inspiration from that, like the way that they're talking to each other and everything. It definitely feels orcish.
And the orcs are they're basically elves that were turned into that.
So that was the original lore, but Tolkien kind of went back on that.
There's a couple versions of that.
Okay.
Right,
okay.
In the series, they're going with the Silmarillion lore for that.
They're going with that?
They are.
Okay.
They're going with that, just so you know.
Okay.
Which is...
I mean, I can see that.
What's it, like, different?
It's like...
Especially since one of them's got the helmet on from the prologue.
Yeah.
So the original... Tolkien, it's very difficult. And Lee's better at explaining it than me, so I wish Lee was in here.
I know, I
Lee's here.
So,
if we...
Because I just accept... The original lore, I don't like the changes. I think it's dumb, but Lee explains it really well as to why that he was trying to change it. And I just think I think that's a mistake of his. And a lot of people don't want to hear that the professor can make mistakes. So I just don't think it was a good idea. I think it works better as his beginning writing. Sometimes he tried to go back on stuff and he didn't need to.
Well, he also was constantly revising things as his worldview changed, and as he wanted to constantly improve upon the lore to make it, to get rid of some unconscious biases. I don't think he ever
that's what, like with the dwarves,
got there, but he improved it.
Yeah, I think the orcs were a hard one because it's like, do they have
people started asking him questions, and then he started questioning himself. He was like, "Well," people started asking him shit like, "Well, if they're elves, when they die, they're supposed to be able to come back and all this shit." And then he's like, "Oh shit, I didn't think about that."
Right,
But
but then he talked about the
he could have
idea of
easily
Morgoth
he
being
overthought
able
it. I
to
think
create,
he could have just been like, after their corruption, that doesn't
There's
happen
something
because Morgoth corrupted him. He could have just said
Well,
that, and then
I don't know, because like if you keep so how I view the elves, if you think about it, I kind of view them as like lower level angels almost, just because of their granted a little bit of power and stuff. So it almost like pulls this parallel between orcs and like demons, because they're literally fallen, fallen elves, and kind of, I don't know. I think from a like a religious perspective, I think that's why he ended up changing things, because there was a lot of like subtle things happening there.
So originally, Tia, he was saying that orcs came from elves. Then later he changed it and
that's the
said
one that I've heard always. Yeah.
He said orcs came from humans.
Yeah, like
then he
Lee
changed
says,
it
he couldn't
again.
reconcile it with his theological beliefs.
Then he said they're their own creation that are controlled by the will of either Morgoth or Sauron, and without their will, they're not. But I think that's bull. That one doesn't work the best at all. So I just go with the.
And he wanted to change the whole elf thing because you said that if they die, how they don't go back to whatever. Like they can do a Vader.
Like Lee
and
die and turn to a force
elves,
ghost.
and they had souls, like Lee just said, which means they are capable of redemption, and he wanted to make them incapable.
Make them
incapable of redemption. Oh, okay.
Redemption.
All right, gotcha.
But I don't even know if I don't know. It's interesting because we have
Leon said it. Yeah.
Because like the Silmarillion was written
it's
written over many years, right? And like Lord of the Rings was written at a certain point. So like the versions that we get, because I think the versions of orcs in Lord of the Rings are a little bit different from the orcs in the Silmarillion. Like the way that they talk to each other and the way that they reason about the decisions they're making. To me, it doesn't sound like they are like have to inherently evil. Like I think that they have become that because what else are they going to do at that point? And they're have been only treated with this certain treatment by Sauron or whatever. But I feel like they're at a point. There's something that the orcs say when Sam is following them in Mordor, and he hears them talking about like, well, they just want to go do their own thing after the war, but they only think that their best chance to do that is if Sauron wins, but because basically like everyone hates them, so what can they do? And it's almost
cut your shit.
Oh
yeah, I mean it's
don't start trolling like Jeff.
Adar is Theo's father.
Adar is Tom Bombadil.
Oh boy.
Which means if everybody doesn't stop trolling, I'm just going to like spill the beans on who Adar is.
Oh, you could.
Sir?
I don't want to ruin it for anybody.
Is it cool?
No! I don't hear nothing.
So, my question is, we got a little baby peek at the end. When are we going to get to see more of that?
Does anybody want to cry or?
Don't do that. No.
Are you talking about the Ents? Are you talking about the Ents? The Ent wives?
Are we going? Are we doing this?
Yeah,
is this happening?
Yeah.
Wait, what are the Ent wives?
Are we having a bonfire per se?
No.
Wait, but what are the Ent wives?
Let me get the marshmallows.
They're female Ents.
I was going to say yeah.
Ents are the three things that fought
Ents,
in the
like
two towers.
Treebeard.
Treebeard, the Ents. Remember the movie The Two Towers?
Yeah.
Do you remember when Isengard, like the
the Ents? That's what they're called. Oh my God!
Yes.
Okay. Don't. I want to hear nothing about them.
Okay. Yeah, let's say it's
no.
not a good story.
It's a no.
Listen, I'm already mad about the elves dying. I don't want to.
In the fifth season, we will find out what happens to them.
Well, I hope.
In the fifth season, we should see them.
Let me enjoy this first. I don't want to. It's enough heartbreak already.
Yeah, I hope we get to see more of them like chilling.
So in the book, Treebeard asked the hobbits, have they seen the Entwives?
Yeah.
Just think about that. If you start crying, it's fine.
It's fine. I'm just remembering like that conversation that he had with like Pippin and Merry, and like talking about how. Oh,
He said,
Wait,
they're
have
they went on vacation. They'll be back.
yeah,
They went on
yeah.
vacation.
You wish they did, Lee.
They went to
very
pick up
happy
milk from
with
the
that.
grocery store, and they just never came back.
And that's it. The end wife is Sauron.
There's a really cool
Yeah.
part in the really cool part in the Fellowship of the Ring in the book. And Lee knows what I'm talking about. When they're traveling on the river Anduin, and they're traveling on the boat, and Aragorn and Boromir looked over, and they see the Brown Lands, and Aragorn goes,
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell happened over there, but whatever destroyed that shit.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Now they
someone
went to
mentioned
Valinor.
Old Man Willow in the chat.
Yeah.
They just went to Valinor with the elves. That's it.
Old Man Willow.
I don't know whatever happened to that shit over there, but that shit was blasted and destroyed by I don't know what.
But before that, it may have been a garden.
It was 100% was the garden.
Been
I'm just saying.
Yes, Old Man Willow was a Huon.
Right now.
Absolutely, Lee. We're agreeing today. We're agreeing this time.
Okay, what's a Huon? I'm writing this stuff down. I'm telling you.
So we have
This is the same as Isildur.
trees that are waking up, that are not necessarily Ents, and that not all of them have good hearts.
Trees. Yeah, they're mad. So they're angry, and they're like in between. I guess would you say like in betweenish, and tree-ish?
Yeah, it's like a tree.
They have a little more life than a regular tree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
The trees that have woken up, but they're not ants. They don't like fully like can talk and everything.
Yeah, because ants, when he describes them, they have like they look like a tree at first glance, but they have different features that make them not a tree. Like they can walk around. They're not like rooted into the ground.
Okay, gotcha. All right.
But Hurons are like in between it. They're really angry too. Yeah. They're not just they're angry because of shit that's been going on. So like I love in the first stage, the dwarves get the bad, and I love this, and I made a video of this. So when you see Gimli in the Two Towers, and he has his axe up, and they're like, lower your axe. Like, that is so, like, such a cool point, because in the first stage, the dwarves, inadvertently, they were going to war, and they clearly had cut down a lot of trees from,
Got it.
and to go to war in Doria.
Yeah.
And the Ents fixed their motherfucking ass. The Ents fixed them when they were coming back, and they helped. And they only do that. This is how you know they did something to the Ents, because the Ents don't get involved unless you did something to them. They don't take sides on nothing. They are completely. And so when they're coming back, the wolves get waylaid by the Ents, and you know it's because they specifically did something to the Ents. They on the way coming from Mount Dolmed, they were like, and it was telling you, but you're not paying attention. They were getting gear and stuff ready for war. But then if you think back further in the beginning, Yavanna was like, why did the dwarves get to cut down like the trees and shit? Like, that's not fair. And then you got to think about all of this shit, and you're like, oh. So to see Gimli do that, and like you hear the Huron in the back, like get mad, like it's so cool. It's so cool.
Yeah, that's cool. See, that makes it better now because I understand what that means. That's cool.
Someone in chat just called out Horse Girl Galadriel, and I was living for that. It was so funny. I know we got dress flowing in the wind.
I love that
horsey, because
Lee had to explain that scene to me because I was lost. Yeah. I was like, what's happening? I was completely lost, and Lee was like, it's because she hasn't been able to enjoy herself in thousands of years or hundreds of years. And I was like, oh shit, I didn't catch that at all.
Yeah, for like 1 hour.
Yeah, that feeling, man. Seeing her that happy is like I would imagine me going to Numenor. It's like, that same ecstatic feeling.
I could just see her
dress is beautiful.
It seems like she's a girlie that loves to ride horses but hasn't been able to do it in a really long ass time.
Yeah,
because she's
like, she likes horses.
To looking for Sauron. She just hasn't had like a moment to herself.
Yeah.
On a boat for very long. Imagine trekking
Annex, don't
like
hate
for
on the
hundreds
slow-mo.
of years.
Can we
What
talk
is
about
Lord of the
how
Rings
The
without slow mo?
I
ill
I
Elendil
liked
was?
the yeah.
Can we talk about how perfect he was? I think he
Oh
was
my god.
perfect.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Loved
Who?
It's great
him.
I'm sorry,
casting.
who?
Loved
Elendil.
him.
It's
Oh,
perfect
Yeah, yeah.
casting.
I
so
thought that
he
he
is.
It's
was
probably my
Elendil?
yeah.
That's
Yeah. So I don't know if his father's going to be in this, but his father is the leader of the faithful, and he eventually
Amadou.
becomes the leader of
Yeah.
the faithful, and
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure.
that's why he fucks with Galadriel, and he's like
Daddy.
he
Yes.
brings, you know what I mean? So
Elendil.
Yeah. Yes, Annex, that is what we mean.
I think
you guys are
I wonder.
sickos.
I'm assuming that Amandil. I know Elendil. I'm assuming that Amandil and Anarion are just both chilling on the Western Shore
Somewhere on the
Yeah.
Western Shore, right?
Yeah.
They're
Sorry,
just
I'm gonna have
chilling
to
Yeah.
with the
agree
daddy.
with Team Elendil. I'm here for it.
I get it. I get it.
Well,
I'm
Muriel
sure
can
Yeah,
get
I
it. I
mean,
just
Elendil's
I
want
mean,
you
I
guys
would,
to know
I
that
love
as
him.
bad.
Oh yeah, she's beautiful.
he can
She
get.
was a little rough with
Can,
Galadriel, but she's pretty though. She's
listen,
beautiful.
man,
Yeah.
Galadriel is bad, but sheesh,
Nah, because
I
I'm
was
Team
like,
Galadriel. I don't care. I support women's wrongs. Go ahead, girl. You know,
Go ahead
come
with your
out your
bad
face
self.
to
Yeah.
people.
but it
Defy
was
that
Yeah,
king.
interesting the
I
I'm
power
here for it.
dynamic there because they're both
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
powerful women. Like, and it's like he's like, bitch, I'm Galadriel. Fuck is you talking about? Like, you know what I'm
Okay, well,
saying? Like,
I'm Muriel. What are you
yeah,
talking
I'm
about?
Miriam.
Like,
Like, what are you saying? Like, what are you
yeah.
saying? Like,
No, no, it was cool.
both
I
got
like
some
that.
terrific claims there. Still,
Absolutely.
still Team
Mommy for
Galadriel
life.
though.
Galadriel.
Mommy for
Mommy
life.
for
All
life.
right.
Did any
Okay, but I'm
did
just
any of
saying,
you have
Dark
thoughts about
Galadriel is
Isildur
mommy.
not wanting to take? Did any of you have any thoughts on Isildur not wanting to take like his seafaring test?
Added
Like he
drama.
wanted to fur.
Teenage angst.
Yeah, a
Angst.
little.
Yeah.
And I think it's just kind of like
Yeah.
showing how he aspires to more than what they're currently given. You know, he wants something different than the life
Yeah.
that's been appointed to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's an interesting point, especially, I'm just interested to get to know Isildur, because um he plays such a big part in like the events later. So I'm interested to see how, because I mean I feel like they're setting up Elendil to be like, I mean he's already cool, right? Like there's no denying, but like Isildur is very young, and so we're gonna get to see him kind of grow up in some ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Lee has a great point. The voice that we hear calling Isildur's name. That was fun.
Oh, right.
Like the creepy.
What is that? Like, is that a omen? Is that a thing? Like, what?
To be honest, I care more about Anarion at this point.
Well, where is he?
Okay. Where is he? Where is he? Bring him back.
I have a lot of questions about where a lot of people are.
Yeah.
I know.
He's off being the problem child, I guess, in Elendil's eyes.
Love that for him.
Who? Anarion? Like Anarion does some ill shit
he's
too.
off being
Like
the problem child.
Well, they kind of set that up,
Anarion
right?
saves Minas Ithil.
What's it?
Like he saves Minas Ithil. Anarion is cool, man.
Well, kind of the conversation they set up with Elendil is that Anarion did his own thing, and now he's inspiring Isildur to try to do his own thing.
Yeah.
Right. You know what I was thinking about?
But the younger brother? What? It's as the younger brother he did that?
Well, the conversation when Isildur's talking to Elendil and Eärien is her name, I think.
Yeah.
And they're kind of asking, like, why do you want to put your, not do the seafaring test? It's implied that he's been talking to Anarion. So that's what I'm getting, is that Anarion did something that Elendil didn't want him to do, and now Isildur's inspired to, not do what Elendil wanted him to do. Which is interesting, because now it's like, to me, it seems like the sons have the ambition. So are the sons going to inspire Elendil in some way? We'll have to see how they play it.
Yeah.
Wait, who's saying what?
I'm not sure what's going on in the chat. I'm gonna be honest.
There's
It's an argument about
genetics
Aragorn's
debate.
Where
lineage.
Aragorn, where he came from.
Aragorn is
I'm mostly
descended
seeing
from Isildur and Anarion, so he can claim both kingships. So if the Gondor line is only the Gondor kings are only descended from Anarion, who is the second son. So Valinor in the north is the true rightful straight heir. You understand? Isildur's son. He's the High King. That's who Aragorn is descended from. Meneldir is the second line of kings from Anarion. So you can't technically be the High King. You understand?
And another thing that Samus Link was saying is is Minas Tirith built by Numenor or the Numenorians? And I was just thinking about that in terms of they're very isolationist right now. Where is the point where they're colonizing, or are we gonna see Elendil and team, arriving to Middle Earth and building stuff?
So Farazan is there. They already have things set up in Middle Earth already. So Amroth should be colonized. So should
Well, it's interesting because they're talking as if
all those things should be colonized already.
It's interesting because they're the way Farazan was talking it sounded like they haven't really been venturing off of Numenor. Is that the vibe that anyone else got?
I did get that vibe, but I wasn't sure if it was a new policy or
right.
I think we're going to see a lot more of it during Farazan once he takes over. I think we're going to see a lot more of them going out places.
Okay, I'm interested to see how that plays out.
Are the men
person in chat, do yourself a favor and stop arguing with Lee. You're going to lose that argument 10 times out of 10.
Also, they're trolling you right now, whoever's asking about who built Numenor. They are trolling you in the comments.
Are the men from Middle Earth allowed to come to Numenor?
Huh?
Are the men from the Southlands, are they allowed to go to Numenor, or Numenor is nah?
I mean,
is anybody going to tell her?
Or is that
if
another?
They go there. It's not going to end well for them.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not just any man can go there.
It's not that they can't go, but just what happens to them is more.
Numenor is Tolkien's version of the Legend of Atlantis.
Yeah.
And we'll leave it that way.
Okay.
So right, just let's just say because of Sauron, don't go there. Don't go there.
I know, but I'm just saying, are they allowed to, or it's no, it's prohibited for anybody that's not from Numenor to go there?
Think about doing that.
They can't just go, really, they can't just go because they feel like it, but they can get brought over, right? And they can be in it's cool. It doesn't end up well for anybody like that. So
no, I get it. Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? It's because of that, and then other reasons. So, like I said, there's the Kingsmen, and then there's the faithful.
The faithful.
What happened right now is you heard Elendil say, "Oh, we're on the western part of the island." So there's two major ports, Romena and Dunia. And Dunia is the eastern port. I mean, is the western port, and then I just said the name, is on the western side. It gets switched over to where the men that are the faithful kind of get excommunicated to the other side of the island.
Yeah, they're basically because so many people start kind of aligning themselves with the King's Men, they're kind of pushed out so that they're not really in positions to, I mean, they kind of, have to play the game a little bit, but they can't be outspoken about their beliefs in the Valar and the elves anymore. So they kind of sequester themselves away from the rest of Numenor so that they can kind of do their own thing. And because they do that is why Elendil and his sons and his family are able to escape when it is time to do that.
Okay, got you. Got
you. And they kind of hide themselves out and do their own thing. But the only thing what I didn't like was Elendil's father and Farazan actually got along for a while. They were close. and then it turns. You know what I'm saying? So he definitely would. They would definitely know who Linda was. Like that's why I was like, what? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Because
I'm
they're
interested
related.
to see where that goes.
So,
because
like,
I think that was definitely deliberate, the way that they
I know,
that.
but I was like, could have did it better.
I was wondering if she was trying to diss him, maybe. She's like, I don't even know who you are.
Right.
Like, was
right,
it
I kind of did feel like that.
Like, was it
like
a Mariah
Carey?
Play? I don't know her moment, or does
like
she
a power
actually
play
not?
type thing?
That's her Mariah Carey. Yes.
Yeah.
But did anybody
Like, know
notice
your
that
place,
Farazan's is the one being nice?
Yeah, that
Anybody notice that
there.
one?
Yeah, I'm always a politician.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Lee, I think she was saying like, I know you're one of the faithful, like,
right.
But she can't outright say I'm one of the faithful too.
Yeah.
Because she's not bad.
Make the point about his name.
I don't think she's bad. I think that she has
just
to
cautious.
keep things close. Yeah,
she's playing the game.
Yeah, she's being cautious.
She's playing the game because the Kingsmen are like the majority.
Yes.
And this is how Farazan ends up infiltrating the throne. So yeah, she's playing a role. That's why when she was talking to her father, who is definitely one of the faithful, he's the one who reiterates the faithful. Like he made it so it's okay to be faithful, and then his son, you know what I'm saying? Like it gets taken over. Like the uncle and Muriel's uncle and goddamn Farazan are starting up bullshit like Trumpers, like MAGA people. Like they're keep like
yes, relax.
100.
We're seeing the Jeffification of Annex in chat right now.
What is happening?
The Jeffification.
You guys are losing it. Also, we're like not that far away from 30,000 likes.
I know. I just saw that.
We might as well just go on and get to 30,000 likes. Let's go on and get that.
Yeah.
Let's go on and
okay.
tap that screen.
There's someone I want to talk about that I was not even considering as a possible identity for people until it was mentioned to me. We have not talked about the King of the Dead, formerly known as the King of the Mountains, who was a king during the Second Age.
No.
Oh, shit.
Was he a king during the Second Age or the Third Age?
He was a king during the Second Age. Remember, because he betrays Isildur and Isildur curses him.
Oh.
And we're thinking of him as...
I mean, it's a possible identity for Halbrand, but it's a character we're definitely going to see. So now we have
That's Halbrand.
But
I hadn't even thought of that.
Oh, shit. That's right.
I was too busy thinking about the Woses. I didn't even think about him.
Yeah. So we're going to... if we hear anything about, like, mountain people, then we know.
Possible.
Yeah, but he's like he's one of the Dunlendings. Technically, the men of the mountain were Dunlendings, and the 9 were already established.
Yeah, well, him not becoming like a part of the Nazgul, but him
as just
betraying Isildur.
A character we're going to see, be active during the Second Age because he has a pretty major role in the Third Age. So I believe they're definitely going to set him up, and we'll see him betray Isildur and get cursed.
We
just doesn't
really talked about Meteor Man this time. I think we did it last week a lot, but I don't really have any theories anymore about him. I'm just like, all right. See where
I'm over the Meteor Man questions. I'm completely over them.
As far as I'm concerned, the Meteor Man is Dumbledore until further notice. I've already thrown out every possible theory.
That's it.
Oh, God.
Speaking of the Harfoots, can I just say that I love them to death. They're adorable. I love them. But
same.
I don't like the whole thing of like, oh well, if you stay behind when we're doing the trek, then that's it. I mean, nobody's gonna help you.
So
I'm like, dude, Poppy's
whole
family is dead. What do you really leave her alone to like, do her carry everything? I thought, because when they first introduced us, it looked like a community, like, oh, everybody helps each other out and everybody, is there for each other and stuff. And then they're like, oh, well, when we're trekking, if you fall behind, then I'm sorry, I do to the book.
As soon as they set that up and said back to the caravan with them, I was like, oh, Meteor Man's going to help them. And that's how they keep them active.
Yeah.
I was like, all right.
I was like, well, now they got a giant.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I
they're
like
very
the
survival
tribute that the
focused.
Harfoots did too.
Oh no,
I like
that
the
was
tribute.
beautiful. Oh
That was
man, I
beautiful.
started crying when they did. That's why I was like when
Yeah, I
Poppy.
was like, damn.
I was like,
Yeah,
I know.
Poppy.
poor
Yeah,
Poppy's
Poppy.
whole
Poppy.
family.
Yeah.
Poppy whole family
Oh,
was
And then
gone.
it's like when
family.
she's carrying the cart by herself, I was like,
That's what I'm
Whole
saying. That's
family.
what got me so upset. I'm like, can somebody please come and like help her out? Her whole
yeah.
family's
And the way that she
dead.
has
Yeah.
to make that decision to keep going.
I
when,
know.
Yeah.
Yes.
This was
She's
definitely the
she's
episode
strong.
where I was most interested in their actions and plot, I guess,
Yeah.
versus the last two, I think.
And I'm interested to see how.
I don't know
So
why.
like we've got the stranger like introduced to
Yes,
everyone
hug
now.
Poppy.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I'm just thinking about how does that not only change like Nori's family, but does that change the way Harfoots do things as a whole? Like obviously he's not talking a lot. He's kind of nonverbal at this point. But as he learns English more or Western or whatever they're speaking at this point, I'm interested to see like how that impacts their trajectory.
I mean, we'll see. It depends on if he's a force for good or evil, right?
Right?
He's good.
Yeah.
He's fine. He's fine. He's good.
It's fine.
He definitely, he's. I think.
I don't
we are
want it
gonna
to be
see
like,
him.
oh, he has amnesia, and then all of a sudden he remembers who he is, and I'm actually a bad guy. Like, no, don't do
Somebody
that. Oh my God.
definitely told me who
I
the
do think he's
stranger
gonna
was
have
that
to.
has inside information, but I don't know if I should believe them or not.
Yeah,
I hate how much inside information that you have. How about that?
Hey,
I
my
know who
fault.
they're
They give you
setting him up to
these
be, and
things.
I just don't want it to be true. I'm still in denial.
Me too.
I will be in
Absolutely.
denial until they literally say his name out loud.
I think.
Yeah.
And even then, I'll still deny it.
Yo, guys, you got to stop with the cold heat thing.
Yeah.
It's not
Oh
a
my
thing.
God, Annex. No.
I know. I refuse to listen to Alex.
The Balrog, yeah, he is a Balrog.
I
not a
love
Balrog,
the
man.
Balrogs. No, I wish it was true. It's hilarious.
The Balrogs are in Middle Earth already.
Over there.
They're in Middle Earth. They didn't shoot over. They're already hidden down. They dug deep and they're hiding.
Yeah, and they've already lost their shape-shifting abilities by this point, haven't they? Whatever.
Yeah, they don't even use their shape-shifting abilities, as far as I know.
Yeah.
They're just committed to being fire demons.
And
Yo, but think about. Does anybody else think about that? So,
what?
Out of the Maiar that like strengths rival Sauron's, like it's like Ianwe, Ose, Melian, and then Aryan. Like, how strong has Aryan got to be where the Valar couldn't even look at her? She's literally the sun Maiar. Like, like she's the part of the reason the orcs can't stand the sun. Like,
damn, Ben.
That's
she's strong as shit.
My favorite crackpot theory is that Aryan just like yeeted Tillian down, and that's Meteor Man. She's like,
What?
stop chasing me,
Somebody said
bro.
That's amazing. It was hilarious.
And Morgoth was scared. Morgoth was scared of her. Didn't know what to do. This is why he puts the clouds over Hiflum, like a bunch of reasons. Like he's just like, damn, like all right, I just have to deal with this. And you know what I'm saying? It scared him at first. You know what I'm saying? And he just has to deal with it. So he has to put clouds. That's why Hiflum is called Hiflum. And why the orcs always, this is what bothered me about Peter Jackson's orcs. Like, for the most part, like, they weren't bothered by the sun. Like, regardless of what he tried to do at the end, when he was like, oh, Sauron sending these clouds. It's like, man, this is the third movie. Like, we've been seeing them running around, like, come on, like, I know they were in shadows and shit like that, but we never saw them quail at the sun, like, really like that. And it was just, it wasn't it for me. Because remember, in the Two Towers, the orc is in the sun, and it wasn't an Uruk-hai.
Yeah.
The Uruk-hai can be in the sun, but the little orc was out there like going riding with them. Like, no.
Yeah. They didn't. They don't really touch on that in Peter's version at all.
Meteor Man can't be Erendil because he's not an elf, as far as we can tell.
He can't come back to Earth anyway.
Yeah.
So
he's got a job.
Another favorite crackpot theory, though. I love all the weird ones.
I mean, might as well at this point.
It's just curious because we're with him.
We point out that Elrond's grandfather and father are still alive.
Yeah. He just can never see them again because Elrond always gets
you can never see them again. But
the tapestry in Numenor that definitely has Elrond on it. And Elros, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would hope so.
That was so cute. Oh my god, I love that.
Okay. Oh, I just lost my train of thought. Never mind, just lost my train of thought.
Oh.
Keep going.
Well, there was
keep going.
Somebody
I had it, then I lost it.
Out to an elf that's like in that, or a person that's in that tapestry that's kind of in the shadows, and how it kind of looks like what we've seen of Adar. And I'm like, that's an interesting.
Someone had an Adar theory, and I was like, I don't think so.
I don't have any Adar theories. I'll be honest.
Not Madros, but the other brother, and I cannot. The name escapes my
brain. Maglor.
Yeah, Maglor, and I'm like,
Maglor is still alive. So if you guys don't know, out of the 7 sons of Feanor, which are all assholes, except for Mithros and Maglor, which are assholes, but we're
apologists.
We like them. We're apologists to them, even though they did the worst possible shit ever.
Yeah, someone was trying to tell me that Adar is Maglor, and I know he's like.
No, it's not Maglor.
Yeah, he's gone by the third age. At least it's implied that only Galadriel is left of that.
Right.
Yeah.
Line.
He's wandering. He's wandering around. Him and Dairon. So I mean, unless they got killed or they died from sadness, but it doesn't say that. So it said he walks the earth for. He's walking around. I must
question your judgment if you think Maglor can be fixed.
Yeah, but he's still being sad. So.
I mean, he can be. The symbol is gone now.
He said he's being a sad boy in the shadows somewhere. Just let him be emo in peace.
Maglor can be fixed. The Silmarils are gone. Mithros kills himself. Mithros kills himself, and it's sad. But I simp for Mithros, man. I don't know why, but he doesn't want to be evil, man.
Yeah.
Him and Maglor does. So, like, Elrond and his brother are like the last surviving elves, like during the war, like right before the war, like their haven gets attacked. And Elrond and Elros are like the children of both lines. And they get kidnapped by the 7 sons of Feanor, well, 2 of them, Maglor and Mithros. And
okay, I read that. Yeah. Okay.
But they get raised good. Like they get treated with love and shit like that. Like.
Mm-hmm.
And they still turn out to just be little shits.
Yeah, they don't be shits. I don't know. I just they're fucking oath, man. Pisses me off.
Okay, I'm not ready for the Adar thirst traps. Keaton, how dare you mention that? I'm not ready.
They're coming. They are coming.
I know.
They are coming. Everyone's going to want to fix Adar.
Because it's the same actor who played Benjen Stark, isn't it? Like, it's going to happen, and I'm not ready for it.
Yeah.
Is it? I haven't.
Oh, it is? Yeah, I'm already there. I'm sorry, guys.
Do you know how many daddy jokes we're going to get in the fandom now?
God.
Yeah, it's out
They're
of control.
coming already.
I mean,
the dadification of Lord of the Rings.
Someone was like, Arondir woke up and the first thing he hears is an orc slamming him to the ground saying, "For daddy," and it's just
no. Arondir, though. Yeah, that boy is fine.
I love the unhinged side of Tolkien Twitter.
I'm unhinged, meme fandom is my favorite because, obviously we all know our stuff, but the fact that we can just, be lighthearted about it, too.
Yeah, exactly.
I need those memes. I want more memes, definitely. Sure. I want that.
So I think we need to
speaking of things, do you guys, is there anyone, or any of you guys do, Easter egg breakdowns in the things? I don't know if you guys know who Theory is.
I was thinking we should do that.
Because he does breakdowns of any little things that you can find, and that would be so helpful for the casuals.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure the tapestry, one of the things in that tapestry in that we saw with Elrond, I'm sure there's many little things there that you guys can break down.
Totally.
Yeah.
I've
seen a few of those videos.
So Geek and Lee and Keaton and Lee, what are your favorite Easter eggs thus far?
Favorite Easter eggs thus far? Ooh.
Oh my goodness!
In episode 3 or the whole?
In the
whole series.
Yes.
All 3 episodes.
Oh, probably the spider webs on the trees and the
well, okay, yeah.
See,
Yeah, that was a big one.
Yeah. That was
Also,
because
well,
I didn't see that, again, like I'm not
we
paying attention to all those little details like that. And once you guys started talking about it, I was like, oh, that's so cool. Okay.
we got a few references to him so far, but Sadok, the Harfoot leader, was like, I know of beings that have been turned into stars, which is a direct reference to
that was
to
cool.
Earendil,
Yeah.
and I thought that was interesting that they
But
would
not the other way
know.
around.
But interesting they would know. But I thought it was cool. Yeah, I thought it was
See, that's what I'm
cool.
What
saying. Like,
That was this episode.
all
I
those
agree with the
things are very
spider webs.
helpful. Yeah.
by
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought that
far,
was a cool reference too.
Harfoot
Also, I saw
had
on
some kind of interaction with elves
yeah.
at some point. I don't
the,
know in what way, but
by far my favorite, and this is like just because I love the dwarves, is the
yeah.
dragon humor
Good
of
Daddy.
Dorloman.
Yes.
That
My favorite
Yes,
one.
it
sent me.
appears twice, right? 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, we've got.
That
Isn't that
shit
one of the
sent me.
statues of
It's
him?
one. Yeah.
The dragon helm is
Oh,
like
that
one of my
reminds me.
favorite
Yeah.
Then
things.
Huan and Luthien.
Yes,
Oh
I
Huan
yeah,
and
love
yeah,
that.
Luthien sent
yeah.
me.
Love
Huan
Huan
and
and
that.
Luthien
Luthien
then
sent me.
too.
I was like, yo.
Yeah.
I know that was. I mean, forever
Yeah.
imprinted into my brain because
Who
Nick
on
was
the best
actually
boy?
punching.
You cannot bring up Huan without somebody saying the goodest boy, the best boy.
Listen,
But he is though.
he is.
He is. He is.
He is.
Uh,
But that's like in Grand. Grand is literally an Easter egg of Karkaroff. Like that's kind of
Yeah.
like I love that too.
We need this. Definitely need somebody to do all those breakdowns like by episode. That would be really, really
yeah.
cool.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Okay, so part of Annex going unhinged is the chat. In the chat has said Galbrand forever, and I want to talk about that because
No.
Galadriel should be married to Celeborn right now. I was hoping we would see Celebrian in the series. I would like Elrond to have his 5 minutes of happiness, please.
Right. What was it like? Didn't Justin? I don't know. He was in here earlier, but he was saying to MC that like Galadriel could cheat though. I'm like, no.
Now,
I don't want that for Halbrand, and I don't want that for Galadriel.
Oh my God.
Celeborn is
Annex.
not useless. He's a general in his own right. And besides, she deserves
correct
a
me if
trophy.
I'm wrong. What isn't it one of the lords, Celeborn, Celeborn Thingle's great nephew?
He's a
In one
prince
of
of Doriath, isn't he?
I'm pretty sure they got like 3 different cannons for him. So I'm just want to check with Lee real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's a
okay.
prince
I
of
was
Doriath.
about to say he's definitely Thingle's great nephew or some shit like that. His brother, grandson, actually, whatever, same shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Annex
I'm
has
down
gone
for that.
with power.
Oh, Lee's breaking it down. Elmo, Galathon, Celeborn.
Yeah. So
What up, Padawan?
as much as we joke that Celeborn is a trophy husband, he actually did stuff.
Galron forever. Galron.
Oh my gosh, that hurts. Annex is losing it.
We're gonna execute.
It's all because of Jeff. Jeff has made nothing but trolls in the comments now, and I can't go 5 seconds without seeing some silly shit. Even Lee's been susceptible to this nonsense.
It's infectious. Wait, is there really a Mando season 3
They can corrupt
trailer?
anyone.
Listen, I've been seeing like the things pop up on my phone. I'm like,
Yeah,
I'll
there
leave
is.
everything for when I'm done here, cause yeah, I don't want to. It's gonna
I
be
saw it
a
at
Sauron.
Celebration, so I think
Goddamn right
you'll
I
enjoy
am.
it.
new better Sauron.
New Beta Sauron, Meteor
You already
Man,
know.
is Don
Sauron.
Marshall. What's the
I'm
other one?
wondering when Amazon is going to reach out to you for a cameo.
Oh, can I show you guys something?
What?
Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on. I'm gonna show you something. I'll be right back.
All right.
Oh.
All right, New Beta has a cameo confirmed.
Oh my god. I hope so.
Wouldn't that just be like delightful? I would love
That
that
would be
if
so
like people
delightful.
got cameos.
I mean, warm my heart.
Oh my god. That would be
Annex,
cool.
shut up.
5
We're not
seasons
bringing
of
Elrond.
scavenger hunts.
Can you imagine how weird that would be, though, if Galadriel and Elrond had a thing for each other and then he marries his daughter? That's gross. How dare you, Annex?
Oh, the Amazon. Yeah, I saw that. The
That's so cool that
the
they sent
Amazon
you guys
Palantir.
that. That is so cool.
Yo, that's it dope.
I make regular Amazon purchases like an ass, and I have not gotten any. I haven't gotten Rings of Power tape. I haven't gotten Rings of Power packaging, and I see my neighbors getting like Rings of Power. Like
I got my Rings of Power packaging. Like, I kept the box. That was so cool.
I'm like, where is my Rings of Power
I
packaging?
haven't ordered anything.
Cool. Super cool, Alexa.
That's
Wait,
so neat.
Does it say anything Tolkien-y?
Like, can you ask it stuff?
I haven't tried yet, but it is like instructions that say if I say certain things, it will do that.
Oh, I don't know.
Okay,
I feel like
I know Emily was trying it out. I just because she was asking.
You should ask about your Precious or something. I want to see if it talks back.
All right, I'll plug it up later, and I'm going to ask about it. If it says something cool, I'm going to make a video.
Yeah, you have to.
There is instructions, and it was like, if you ask about Rings of Power, it'll do this or something. I was just like, what?
Okay,
oh, definitely do a video.
I think it's like, yeah.
Oh, you're over 30K.
We did like
30.
Oh, we did? 30K.
Thanks everyone for capping the screen.
That's awesome.
It is, definitely is a Palantir. It definitely is.
Next
and the Numenorians are such asses. The Palantir were given to them by the elves, and then they have the nerve to kick the elves out. Like, they're scumbags.
When Muriel was like, we weren't given anything, and I'm like, you were given like lots of things, though.
You were given mad shit. You was given Aaron.
Like, I get it. Like, as a man, it's like, wait, hold on. You know, we work for our shit too, but all the amount of stuff that you guys like that, and I know that they got that were given to them by the elves, like, bro, no.
I was like,
immortality, like, I mean, not immortality, but like longevity.
It just makes me think about how the story of like the war of Valerian is told in Numenor now, based on how she was talking about that, because it's like you weren't expecting a gift, you just knew that was the right thing to do at the time, right? But then you were rewarded because everyone was like so glad that we got rid of Morgoth, you know what I mean? And it was, I mean, just such a different relationship, and now you're talking about it as if that was assumed, like you were
that you were get that because of right.
But,
and it's like, no.
But they have a little bit of receipts. The men absolutely did not have to get involved in the wars, and they helped. They did not. They literally could have been like, and Morgoth gave them an out. They literally could have just chilled. Like, so we got to give them some kind of respect, because exponentially their lives were fucked up because of it.
Yeah, well, it just makes you think about how the attitude is different, right? Like, they did it because it was the right thing. It was only those 3 houses of men. All these other men aligned with Morgoth or sat it out, you know? They were doing it for a different reason, and now they're kind of telling themselves, like, within Numenor, how they deserve all these, how they worked so hard for all these things. And it's like, well, you know, you weren't doing it to get things, you know? You were doing it because it was the right thing to do. And so just how they've, of course, like how legends and myths pass down over time, but they're kind of, you know, with that background knowledge, we're kind of seeing, you know, how Numenor is kind of hurting itself, you know.
Yo, how fucked up does your life have to be for the gods at the end to be like, okay, you can kill Morgoth?
Yeah.
You can. Yeah. You did kind of have a fucked up life.
Yeah.
They give Morgoth a lot of time to fuck shit
They're
up.
like, all right, you can be that guy. I guess he messed your life up the most.
I don't know if Annex is being serious with saying that the elves are the actual bad guys, but I want to use that as a jumping off point, because a lot of people have been complaining about the elves being like jerks, and I'm like, they were jerks. That's literally...
A lot of them were jerks.
Yeah.
But
they are.
They're talking about like Galadriel though. Galadriel's just from a certain space is looking at something like one track mind type shit. Where you know
that's what it is. She's like
being insensitive to other people. Yeah, she got tunnel vision and she's being insensitive. So she's not an asshole, but she just didn't learn that it's not all about her. And she really ain't even worried about the world. She's really more worried about she want her revenge. Like, and she's like, oh, the world is kind of like coming to her now, like more like it's opening up. But she was like tunnel vision, just like Tia said, like tunnel vision, where it's like it's about everyone and da da da. She's using that as a guise to tell Gilgalad
But
about
I think
Sauron because
now
she just wants to.
with her finding the map and how the symbol was
Yeah.
actually the map of the Morn, now she's like, oh wait, whoa, no, this is like something
And
way
this
bigger
man
than
helped
that, you know?
me and a bunch of things. She's like, okay,
Yeah.
And
you know what I'm
also
saying? Like,
Halbrand telling her that his home was ravaged by orcs. She's like, oh shit, really? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not just all in my head. Like,
join my cause.
Yeah.
Join my cause.
Yeah.
And I actually like that we're getting to see that character growth along with her. Like, you know, it's not just, oh yeah,
Absolutely.
she just became this great, Lord of the Rings.
Annex, are we gonna have to kick you, buddy?
Yeah.
Annex is just drunk with
Annex
power.
is,
oh my God, Annex, no.
Or possibly literally drunk.
No.
Oh,
Galindil.
Adian's an interesting new character.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any feelings toward her either way. I feel like she's just a prop piece to just.
I think
we don't know yet.
Well, it's like we don't.
I think
know
she's going to end
about
up.
her, really.
I think she's going to end up helping, unfortunately, build the temple to Morgoth.
No, I think she's gonna.
That went left real fast.
That's my goal.
Oh shit!
Oh, Andie.
I feel like she's gonna help build the library.
I think so.
Minas Tirith. Because in her character poster, we see her holding a book.
Right.
And it has like the Numenorian fish on it. So I feel like she's gonna become kind of a scribe of the age.
Well, and she got accepted into that guild.
That Builders Guild.
Yeah, right. You're right.
Oh,
the architect, right?
Right.
That's why. That's the reason I say is like I think
when are we going to see the Black Stone?
Farazan's sons.
No.
And where the freak do they get it from?
I know. I don't know.
They brought the Stone of Eric with them.
They're going to show it.
So this has to be shit that's mine in Numenor.
I just don't know if they're good. Do they have the rights to it? Do they have the rights to it?
It's in the Lord of the Rings, so I'm assuming.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been said in interviews she's one of the Kingsmen.
I don't know because that's what. Well, because you have to. I was saying you can't. Yeah, no, her love interest is one of the Kingsmen, who I also think is going to be a Nazgul, but that's different.
So three of the Numenorians are going to become Kingsmen, but I thought it was Numenorians on the coast, unless they got to at least travel back to Middle Earth. They can't just be a Numenor.
Yeah. Do you think we're going to see
absolutely can't.
all of the Nazgul change, or do you think some of them will just show up?
It would be nice to see all of them, but that's a big ask.
Yeah. A lot of characters.
Yeah.
Oh, another thing on Eärien for any of the cosplayers out there. So Eärien, Isildur, Elrond, and Gil-galad all have costumes available on cosplay sites already. They keep marketing Eärion's dress as Bronwyn's, and I've been emailing websites telling them that they're wrong because it was bothering me.
Oh no.
Okay.
Thank you for that. So as of yet, I haven't seen Aaron Ruth, and as of yet, haven't seen Narsil. What are your thoughts?
I don't think Elendil even needs Narsil until he's a bit ready to be truly embrace the faithful.
Yeah. What was the sword that she presented Elendil with?
That's what we're trying to figure out.
Yeah, is it Narsil?
Yeah.
I hope it's not Narsil. I hope it's not Narsil. I don't think it is.
But Narsil only becomes...
Could be, but I don't...
Kelkar.
Okay.
Kelkar of Nogrod. So he's a dwarf made it. It was somehow passed to either one of the 7 sons or possibly one of Fingon or somebody, one of them. But I don't even remember how Narsil gets to freaking Numenor. But it ends up when one of the either one of the 7 sons has it or something like that. I saw that as a thing, and then I don't know how the freak it ends up in Numenor, but
so
I'm sure we will.
I'm of 2 minds of the sword that Miriel gives to Elendil, because if it is Narsil, it's very kind of
Oh, Chris said
understated to
it's
be
confirmed that
Narsil?
it's Narsil. Yeah, see, I knew. Yeah. Boom, I knew it. Annex,
Okay, yes.
is that? Are you trolling or are you telling the truth? Because I can't remember. It's been a while since the lineages of the sword. I know that. I know.
Don't trust
Come on,
Annex. No, I don't.
Well, yourself in a corner, Annex. No one's gonna trust you now.
Chris said he was confirmed to be Narsil.
I mean, so be it. I guess wasn't my
Until
idea.
it eventually
but...
came to the hands of Elendil, yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, is Narsil is like a really understated moment, but also kind of like that it could be an understated moment. Like you don't realize its importance yet, so it could go either way.
Well, the fact that it has a sun on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How?
Yeah.
How would I know something you don't? There's lots of people who know stuff I don't know. I used to know. I can't remember now. I got to go research that again. But for the most part, it's easy to surmise like some things. So, when the dwarves traffic from Mount Dolmed, all of their riches pass through the hands of Caranthir. That's how most of the things end up into the hands of the elves. So the dragon helm was given to Asgard. Asgard ended up giving it to Fingon. Fingon passed it over to the men of Dorloman. So you see there's a direct trail there. So we can assume the same for something like Narsil. We know Angrist, passes from Telkar and is given to Caligorm's or Corfin rather. Was it Corfin? Caligorm, one of them. And stuff like that. So I'm assuming the same thing happened with Narsil. Like it was made and then given to one of the dwarves, one of the elves, one of the seven sons, or one of the elves in Hiflum, and then it passed down, or even given to Thingol. And Thingol's line is the one that ends up, Aaron Ruth ends up in freaking Numenor. Tuor's axe ends up in Numenor, like a bunch of shit. There's a bunch of shit that's like, damn, how the freak did I get to Numenor? But at least the stuff from Thingol and the stuff from certain ones of the Noldor makes sense. Because clearly Thingol's heir ends up in Numenor. So
I don't know.
Elros is a direct
remember,
descendant.
Numenor were colonizers. It's very on brand
That
for them
too.
to just end up with riches.
Right.
But these are like royal things passed down. Like, so I wouldn't say they robbed it and then they used it as a royal heirloom. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't know, but that's my thought process anyway.
Yeah, I get that. Well, I have our one last thought for me is, what are we all looking forward to in episode 4?
They got to go back to Khazad-dûm for me.
With Adar
they have to go back to what's going on.
More dwarves.
More dwarves.
Everyone wants
do
the
we
dwarves
think
back.
that we're gonna time jump at all with the dwarves? Like, are they gonna be full on building with Celebrimbor? Are we gonna see Celebrimbor approach them next, or are we gonna just see them working with Celebrimbor next?
I hope so.
I feel like we need a little more connective tissue before we actually see them working with them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I want to see more of Austin Ethel.
Well, when they're gonna, maybe we need to address what's in the box. What's in the box?
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
me too.
I saw. I'm 100%.
I saw them holding a nugget, so I'm guessing that's the
what's
that called, the mithril, right? Yeah.
That's mithril. Yeah.
We'll probably get something along that.
I also want Narvi, but I'm super scared that they're just doing Durin and Elrond as the sub.
You think so?
The Silmaril. Oh no, please no.
I also want to go back to Bronwyn and Theo in episode 4 and their journey.
Yeah, I want to see more with the sword with Theo. Like, okay, so
the sword that drinks blood.
Now what?
Well, I think
I was gonna ask that because it's like, is that a thing with that sword, like the blood magic thing? Because
with a different sword.
What I saw was that
don't even go there.
Is it like because it's connected with the orc?
You're going to make it a thing, and I don't want it to be a thing.
I mean, yeah, there is a sword where that's a thing in the lore, but I don't necessarily think this is the same sword.
I don't think it's that sword.
There'd be a lot of explaining they would have to do.
I hope not.
So much explaining that.
Yeah, it would be a little awkward.
They would have to spend an
Super.
entire episode explaining
At
how
least as it is.
I mean,
how it
they're
came to the
definitely
Southlands.
right. I mean, they're doing
It's
something
nowhere
with
near
Sauron with that
nowhere
story.
near the Southlands. Not even close
No.
to the
Yeah.
Southlands.
They're
So maybe
doing
it's just a
something.
remnant of the past war. Then I mean, it's from somebody strong that and it was just left there for him to find.
I don't know.
And
I feel
they
like they're kind of
imprinted
Seems like a
going
Sauron's.
marble
with this
square or
They
story.
something.
dug it up and they imprinted Sauron's symbol on it.
Similar, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like this is maybe they're just using that as inspo, and then this sword is something else.
It's like a proto-Morgul blade, probably.
Yeah, that's what I'm
it's
thinking.
definitely like
Yeah, let's
Sauron. Like it has something to
please.
do.
I know.
I hope so. Well, I think the next episode is when Theo gets his arm grabbed and he's like, "Do you know who Sauron is,
Sauron,
kid?"
okay.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we
So-
see that village head off somewhere. So like,
Yeah.
do you
Yeah.
remember where it said they were going, or are they just going to the next town over? I'm not.
No fucking clue.
I don't think they
No
said.
clue.
I don't think they said.
Umbar?
Anything. It wasn't. It wasn't implied or anything.
So I'm interested
Yeah,
to
we
see
don't
how
really
that
know
old
yet.
man comes into the story with Theo. Like, why is he talking
Yeah.
to Theo? Like,
It's
who
just
are
gonna
you?
come out of nowhere,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
it's
also,
weird.
I want to know why the people with
he's-
Halbrand
he's-
ended up on a boat. Like, where were they? Why would they get on a boat instead of just doing what Bronwyn and her people are doing? Like,
That's a good
was
question.
it-
Well, we will see.
And why didn't Halbrand help them when they were getting attacked by the fish
He's the
thing?
worst.
I don't want him to be Sauron. I
I
don't
don't
want him to get
Also, yeah,
don't
why
want
did the fish conveniently leave? They could
Just
very
not
conveniently
him.
attack
have
them.
and stuff.
Everybody
If you don't
else,
see one
yeah.
fish, I'll be sad.
God.
Yo, Lee, you are in my head. Lee, you are in my head. Thank you. Why were they that close to Amon? Why? And if they're that close, they're supposed
Yeah.
to get lost. They're supposed to get lost and never be seen again. So that was very suspicious. Unless Galadriel swam very freaking fast. They're supposed to get lost in the mist and things.
Can you remind me how, like, okay, so we have him on. Where is Numenor, like, as far as, like, distance from Middle Earth? It's like we know it's the west.
Yeah,
Numenor
she did
is-
swim for a long time.
Numenor is
But
in the middle of the ocean, but it's closer to Amon than it is to Middle Earth.
okay,
I gotta get a map.
But
Yeah.
the problem
I
is
need an update on
the Sundering Seas in between. If a man was to sail across too close to Amon, there's like these shit, like mist and shadow shits they get caught up in. It's very similar to like the girdle of Melian, and the lucky ones end up on the lucky ones end up on Tall Arisea, but they can't leave there.
Mm.
And they just, you know what I mean? Like it says that at the end, and they end up dying there on the shores. But at least they see Tall Arisea, but they never get to go to Amon ever,
Right.
except for Earendil, which doesn't count. So how are they that close? They had to been close.
She like, does she run into them closer to Numenor, or does she run into them? You know,
I
what
would
I mean? I
imagine.
mean, it's kind of ambiguous.
It seems like they're pretty close
There's
to
also
Numenor.
there's the storm too.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, so we
right.
don't know like
around.
where they might have gotten
we,
thrown around
we
because
can't
of the
even.
storm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, but what's in the storm after?
but no chance meetings. No chance
But
meetings.
do we know what
the storm?
Did Tolkien ever establish like current patterns for the oceans?
He says there's a straight road for the elves.
Right, I
So
know,
the
but
elves
like, do
just-
we know
just-
how the currents of Middle Earth work, or so? No,
We
do
didn't
we
even get
just
into that whole
assume there's, like,
debacle yet.
He can
Like, we
create
didn't even
7
look.
languages, but
Look,
we don't know how the
so
ocean
Tia,
currents work.
Geek, are you going to tell her, or am I going to tell Tia that the Earth is flat right now?
I mean, I think you just did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Earth is
So
flat right now.
Flat? Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah.
So after the destruction of Numenor, it becomes round.
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
It
That's
is
how
round,
bad
yeah,
it
so
was?
it's still flat.
Holy
Because they're basically like,
It's
okay,
still
the fact that Numenorians could even try to get to Valinor is a problem. So we're gonna make it so like no mortals can even try anymore.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's just flat.
so
Just
they made it
a
round,
plank in
so
the middle
it's
of the
even
space.
harder to navigate. And so, okay, got it.
So basically, like Valinor gets removed from like the plane of
thing.
got it. You know?
Yeah, got it.
And then it
This
becomes
currency
like
work in Middle
interdimensional
Earth.
travel.
Go check out Deep Geek.
Taxation.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll say Deep Geek will tell you about the currency. Robert
Okay,
will tell
Game
you
of
all
Thrones
about
author.
currency.
Oh man.
I don't think we've time jumped. I don't know how long she's been swimming though. How long would it take to swim from, being like
I'm
right
sure
at the
a
edge
few
of Valinor
days,
to...
right? But not
forever
like
and a day.
major
That's
time
too much
jumps.
for me to think about.
Yeah.
The currency.
How fast can an elf swim?
Interesting.
Yeah.
These are the questions.
How fast can Galadriel swim? Who more was like a super elf?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
No, fuck no. She would die.
Like
If Amroth died on the fucking shore, jumping by the shore, jumping off the boat, and he saw land, the Galadriel can't swim all over the freaking ocean. There's no way.
So that means they were pretty far out then on the raft.
It was like Amroth is a king of elves, and he jumps off the boat. He can see the shore, and he drowns before he makes it to the shore. But Galadriel, regardless of seeing the two trees or not, is going to swim across the entire fucking ocean. Get the fuck out of here!
Yeah, no, she's powerful, but come on now, the sea, the ocean.
Don't talk about Amroth like that.
Yeah, we know there was a storm, but it means the raft
it
got
was a
thrown.
storm, but so what? It was a storm with Galadriel too.
The raft it would have had to end up fairly close to Valinor then. So, you're making me believe that Halbrand is Sauron, and I don't like it.
I don't like it either. I'm kind of hoping that we haven't seen Sauron yet, but I don't know if they have the time.
I think that's the trick of it. I think that we're looking at him the whole time.
Yeah, well, I think that they're misdirecting and they want to surprise us because we're expecting Anatar. We know Anatar, but he does pose as the emissary first.
Right.
We
Does
just don't
anybody
know
else
what form.
not like Nimrodel?
What? What do you mean?
Does anybody else not like Nimrodel? I thought she was kind of excuse my language, she's kind of a bitch. She's mean to Galadriel. She doesn't like her.
Right.
Wait, who's that?
Nimrodel.
Tell that story real quick.
Oh, but it's in the show, or is just the lore?
No, not in the show. Not in the show.
Oh, okay.
What have you got against Nimrodel? She's mean. She's the reason Amroth is dead.
Galadriel's a colonizer.
It gets lost.
Okay, fair enough. But Galadriel wasn't trying to be a colonizer. Well, she kind of was, but whatever.
Yeah, she was. She literally went to Middle Earth to conquest and make land and have some land for herself.
But she did it in a nice way. I'm just joking.
She did it in a nice way. She asked nicely.
So Nimrodel was a maiden in Lothlorien. So if you don't know this, Tia, Lothlorien, in Third Age is ruled by Celeborn and Galadriel, but they're not called king and queen. They're just called the Lord and Lady. High
lady.
Right?
Okay.
They don't take the kingship because it doesn't belong to them. For one, Galadriel is a Noldor elf. The Lothlorien elves are not. They're Sylvan elves.
Okay.
So she came there and she's looked to as royalty kind of because she's a higher form of elf. And they but the maiden that lived there named Nimrodel, she's like resentful of her. She's like the Noldor. It's like all the elves. They kind of feel like a little, the Sylvan and Sindar elves are like, you guys are colonizers, this, that, and the third. But it's just Galadriel wasn't being a jerk. You know what I'm saying? And she didn't take no kingship or nothing. Amroth was the king. So Nimrodel convinces Amroth because he was in love with her. Let's leave this place. And the Balrog didn't help things. And she also didn't like the dwarves. What about that? What about that one? Yeah, what about that, Lee? She didn't like the dwarves either.
One thing I want to throw out the next
She's
time
kind of a jerk. I don't know.
The next time someone tries to troll in my comments saying, but Tolkien intended to create a mythology for Great Britain, I'm going to be like, yeah, that's why everyone was colonizers, I guess.
Oh, please.
Yes.
But now, are you really like? Do you like the Sindar and the Sylvan Elves are the same elves?
Sindar and Sylvan.
So that one I don't count. It's like a refinding of your people. Like they're the same. So I don't count that. The Sylvan Elves and the Sindar they diverged in culture a bit, but they're the same elves. You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
yeah, culturally, but they're still the same.
They're the same in that none of them ever left Middle Earth. But
they're all Teleri elves.
Yeah. But yeah, different. Like Lisa's very different culturally.
Absolutely. Not denying that at all, Lee. Not denying that at all. But if we're looking at it from a race standpoint, in the sense of like your people, like culturally, like that's like, okay, so as an African American, my culture is completely different from African's culture, but I'm still African. You know what I'm saying? So if I was to go back to Africa, them not accepting me because I'm African American, or there's a whole thing now where they are very accepting and they're calling us back home and saying, hey, we know you're culturally different, but genetically you're the same. So come back home. This is where you're from. You understand what I'm saying? Like, black people in America don't hate Africans.
Sorry, guys. Mine is like really choppy.
No, I wouldn't go expecting to be anything, but you can only. Okay, so the Sylvan elves far outnumbered the Sindar elves at that point. So when they go over there, are the Sindar trying to be rulers, or are they just allowing themselves to be rulers because the Sylvan accept this? Because it's not like they could beat the Sindar could beat the Sylvan elves in a war. There's far outnumbered. There's only a few Sindar comparatively compared to the Sylvan elves. So I don't think they're strong arming them in that sense. I think they're like, oh my God, you guys lived in Valeria and then and come, you can beat it. I feel like that's more of what's happening. You know what I'm saying? Like they're accepting their own people and they're like, yo, you guys established a culturally thing, because it says the cultures melded together. It doesn't say like it was forced upon. And I'm not trying to be insensitive. It says that they melded together.
Hey,
no, I'm not saying they were like rulers, please, but
like the show.
Yeah, but does it though? Like, accepting somebody, they're like, all right, we're kin. You may have had knowledge in because okay, so at the time the Sylvan elves are living in Middle Earth. They're the best at basic nature and stuff like that. But the Sindar elves have a more established knowledge of certain things and all that type of stuff. So if they come over and they're looked at a little bit revered by the Sylvan elves, they're looked at a little bit revered by them, and they're like, you know what? I accept that you know these things and we're kin and everything, and I want to take you on as a ruler because of that. That's not really like colonization in the sense of where they're coming over like taking. I look at colonization more in the sense of like maliciously or malignantly taking something and just taking it over and saying, oh, we live here now, and or our people live here now, and you just got to live with us. That's more colonization. Whereas I feel like it was more of a conjoined thing where they were like, oh, this is cool. Our people coming back over and we're cool with this. And that's why I don't look at it bad in that sense. Like, if anything, you're more right about the Galadriel thing than anything. No, I'm not saying that. If the Sindar elves are the ones saying that, yes, but I don't think that was the case. I think the Sylvan elves were perceptive to what the Sindar elves had to offer, and that's why they looked at them and revered them in a certain sense. You're kind of putting words in my mouth right now, Lee.
Y'all get the likes to 35K and I'll bow out so Lee can come argue.
I would love to argue with Lee right now.
I have to step out.
Look at that screen, y'all.
Yeah, I'm gonna pass it on to Lisa. She's coming good at cardio. No, but thank you so much, guys, for having me. I just gotta step out right now. Again, always, I love that you guys have all this knowledge to impart to us, and hope we could do this again soon. Hopefully next episode. So we could keep learning more.
Yeah, for sure.
Of course we will.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. Take care,
Bye.
and I'll talk to you next time.
Talk to
Bye.
you soon.
Okay. Bye.
All right, Lee, get
Okay,
in here.
what Annie said is cool, and I'm not saying that's not the case,
Okay, Lee.
but it doesn't matter in terms of the story because that's what they did. You understand what I'm saying? Like you're looking at it from because you know
Did I
from the
do it
outside.
right?
You dig what I'm saying? Like where it's easy to do that in stories. Like you already know because you're reading the book. But if the Sylvan Elves are in the story and they're receptive to this and they don't have an issue with it and it's not that to them,
Here we go.
then you have to accept it for what it was. You dig what I'm saying?
Oh, see you, Belmont. Thanks for being here.
Belmont, no, don't go.
Okay, Lee.
The fight of the century. Place your bets now, folks.
It's
coming to you.
I need to switch over to viewer though.
Hey, Jeff.
So I'm about
We're glad you're still here, Jeff. What was that, Keaton? I'm sorry.
Oh, I said I need to switch over to. I'm gonna just spectate. I gotta go do some errands.
No, cool.
Fair,
Okay.
fair.
Talk to you soon.
Okay, no worries. Thanks for being here, bud.
Of course.
Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
So we're gonna get
But it's
popcorn. Yeah,
moving.
make the
Why is it not
popcorn.
connecting? Is
If
that...
Lee can connect.
We got to hurry up because my phone is on like 15%. It's going to die.
Oh, no! I don't even know what my phone's on. It's showing me like a little connecty spinny thing.
Yeah, I can see like Lee's name, but no video yet.
I don't see anything. I'm going to get my charger just in case, even though my phone's probably going to like overheat.
Okay.
Are we ready?
Cool.
Oh, back.
We're all bracing
Grab a
ourselves.
snack.
And this is a great time. Grab a snack, folks.
Okay, so
refill your coffee mugs. You know, make yourself a cocktail.
Yeah. I mean, why not?
Now is the time. Now's the time.
I hear you, but I can't see you.
See, I can't see Lee's name at all now.
I don't understand TikTok. Is anything working?
I see you guys here. Hear you guys.
It's a mystery.
Lee, did you? Okay, are you? Okay, I'm gonna accept again. See if this will work. I hear you.
I hear you.
I hear you. I don't see you.
Oh. I see you. Lee, is there blood on your face? Am I tripping?
What?
What's happening?
How come
is that on
I
purpose?
can't see you? Is my phone broken?
I can see you.
Really? This is so
now
strange.
I can't see you. And I can't see Deep either.
No, critique Deep's frozen.
Amber, okay, I see you, Lee. I see you.
Yeah, I don't even know. The whole screen's just gone black.
Yep, the whole screen is black.
Oh my God.
Wow, what is going on?
I'm not sure.
I'm going to back out and join back in.
I'm very.
Yeah,
Okay.
I am as well.
I don't know what's happening anymore. I am grabbing a snack. Okay, I'm accepting. I don't know what's happening. Yeah. Yeah, this is so weird. And now I hear you and I don't see you. I hear you. Hold on.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Everything is just broken, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's like Jeff said, the live is not prepared for what was about to happen.
If you're, yeah, I think you're right, Jeff.
Yeah.
See, and now I can't see Lee. I can hear Lee.
I can hear her, but I can't. I can only see Amber.
It's a mystery.
I don't know if it's like a TikTok problem. Is it like my internet? I don't know.
Yeah, you might need to. We might need to restart the live, Andie, because I'm frozen again.
Okay, hold on. BRB, y'all.